It's you know what? The mics are working correctly. This is so awesome. I'm so excited right now. I didn't have to take anything out or do anything. This is the greatest day of my life.
Finally.
Yeah.
But I got the bad mic. Doesn't Mark say this mic sucks or something? He always complains
yeah,
about it.
Mark's a chronic complainer.
He does.
He's a whiner.
He does. He whines a lot. You know what? Yeah. See, when he's not here, it's fun to talk. You know he's going to listen, and the first thing he's going to do is he's going to text me immediately and tell me I'm a jerk for saying that. Because he's like, you wouldn't say that if I was here.
Whining in golf, whining in podcasts. Whining in life.
Are we going to do that?
No.
We're not going to do that.
Not anymore. Okay.
No.
Strike that.
Let's be nice.
Strike
No.
that.
You know what? I think it's because he always hits the mic. He's very active with his hands when he's talking. Like he's always pointing at me and giving me the swear finger.
He's got very thick fingers, so he's always touching.
You can hit the
something.
mic? You can hit the mic?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure you're done with that. All
Don't
right.
touch it.
What?
just.
I think one of our first shows, I knocked the mic. I think I just knocked the whole mic over, and it was super loud. And I'm like, yeah, that's when I didn't know how to edit. And I was just like, yeah, okay, everybody can hear that.
I think
It's
I did
fine.
that one time. Like this thing came off, and I couldn't put it back
Oh, yeah,
on.
you flew it all over the
I'm
place.
just
That
not-
was.
Now
yeah.
I don't touch anything.
That was the end of the drinking. That's why I'm really scared about tonight. That's why I'm really nervous about what you're going to do.
I got this.
Yeah.
I'm not nervous. I'm very excited about this whole thing.
Oh, man. Anytime people bring alcohol, I'm excited. I really am.
Have you been to Drunk Shakespeare? Is it going to be like that?
I don't know what drunk.
No, what is that?
What is drunk Shakespeare?
What is that?
So the performers, one of them gets chosen to have to do shots throughout the whole show.
That's
so
a great
they
idea.
just
That's
keep
a great
doing
idea.
shots and doing Shakespeare. And so as it goes on, they get drunker and drunker, and it's harder and harder for them to do it. So it's just kind of funny.
So you could do a show like that where somebody just bring you on and they just get drunk.
So it's
and
like
do shots
it's
all
like
the time.
21 shots.
That
for
was the
20
first 50 shows, Steve.
That's true.
That was.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
the first 50 shows before we made Ted stop
We
drinking.
had to stop that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a really bad idea. You know what? I might actually like Shakespeare like that.
Yeah, it's very entertaining for sure. But sometimes they don't finish the show.
So when I was in high school, I mean, we did Shakespeare and an Oliver Twist, and I'm just like, I could not follow it at all. I mean, I know some people love Shakespeare. I'm just like, I have no idea what he's talking about. I didn't know any. I just like I could not follow it at all.
Ted,
it was
nobody
like a
does.
foreign
Same,
language.
Same.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody does. People just pretend that they like it so that people will think that they're cool and cultured.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of them. I mean, if you have to spend enough time paying attention to it, then you spent too much time. Yeah, with pretend.
I couldn't decipher anything. It was like Mandarin Chinese. I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
That's what it was written in. It was all. It went from Mandarin Chinese to Latin to English, and that's what it ends up. For to with thou art.
And my level of boredom, which just was like, I went from zero to like not giving a shit in like 5 seconds. I'm like,
That's why we all love school and our English classes because that's what they did to us. Yeah.
Well, see, and that's what's exciting because you guys have a cocktail school. Is that what you call it? Spirit school?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys do. See, that's what everybody should do. I think high school would be a lot more fun, and I'm not advocating this. I'm just saying, if maybe they served a few drinks, maybe just to the teachers.
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe to the older kids. I don't know, but I think the teachers would be a lot more fun, right? I mean, wouldn't algebra be more fun when your teacher couldn't get through it?
Absolutely. The kids would love that way better than Shakespeare, no doubt about it.
Yeah, you have your choice. You have regular algebra for the smart kids. Then you have drunk algebra for the kids who just want to have a good time, and they know they're never going to use algebra.
that was me.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it like 99% of what you learn in high school not even remotely applicable to anything in your life?
You don't use Pythagorean theorem a lot?
Except shop class, which I never used.
Didn't you take? You had to take shop
I
class
had
at
to
Lane.
take shop class. I took auto class and some sheet metal class.
Sheet metal class.
Sheet metal class.
There was no sheet metal class.
Drafting.
What were you
drafting
doing?
class.
Did you were out in the garage somewhere, with like the teacher's garage, doing something?
Well, like the school garage, not the teacher's garage.
Yeah, I don't know. Teachers
pretty
had
personal.
garages.
That'd be
I went to public
Was it
school. The
Catholic
teachers
school?
did not have
You go to
garages.
Catholic school? Yeah,
They
you
did
did.
not have garages. All right, so I got to give an update real fast. Remember, I told you guys I contacted Mac Maloney from our UFO guy who was
Yes.
on the show.
Yes.
So I asked him if that stuff in Vegas was real, and he said that whatever was in the sky was a meteor or a fireball. And he said, as for the 10-foot tall beings, he said the Lakers were in town that day. Yeah, so maybe it was them.
Not Bigfoot?
No Bigfoot, no aliens, no nothing. He said false alarm.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice to have friends in the know.
So the two guys in Vegas who allegedly saw an 8-foot non-human being in their backyard, who were not on drugs or alcohol at the time, were confused.
So they weren't on drugs and alcohol at the time the police were there? Yeah, because I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, if you saw something in the sky, so if you saw a meteor, like a straight up meteor, you might say, my next door neighbor's an alien. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I mean, you have to be pretty drunk.
No, what we talked about. Let's just say it did. Let's say a UFO crash landed on the Earth in Vegas, and these two non-human life forms were there, and they survived the crash. Obviously, they can breathe oxygen like we can. They didn't perish immediately. It's like if we crash landed on Mars, could we survive breathing sulfuric acid on Mars?
I've never breathed sulfuric acid.
Exactly.
Anyone?
You'd be dead.
Oh,
You'd be
Derek,
dead
you're a
inside.
chemical engineer. Can we survive breathing sulfuric acid?
For 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
30 seconds. That's not bad.
30-second party. I like the concept of that. Your last 30 seconds.
Yeah. So these things that they saw allegedly they didn't perish right there where the corpses were found, and it would be the biggest news story of all time. Obviously, finding two aliens. They obviously vanished in thin air like Bigfoot, never to be seen again.
You know what'd be funny? Yeah. You know what'd be really funny if they landed and the first thing they said is we're looking for North Shore Distillery. Is this we can obviously breathe air. We can breathe air. We really want a mojito. We want the best mojito we could ever get. Where is that? And then somebody the guy was just like, oh man, it's Green Oaks. Is that right? Green Oaks.
Right.
Yeah.
Green Oaks, Illinois. You're a few thousand miles away. Thank you. And then they just leave. I like the concept of
That's
that.
probably what happened to him. Yeah.
Exactly.
So when was this sighting? So we should expect them soon?
I mean, I figured. Well, their aircraft broke.
It was in
right.
That's right.
So they're
they gotta take a train? They
Last
gotta
3
take a
weeks.
train,
This
or-
was like 3 weeks ago.
yeah. So they had to rent a car.
Huh.
Yeah, and they had to make it there.
Did they get the reservation for the car? I mean, this could be a delay. I mean, you never know.
That's true.
They could have gone there. They know how to take the reservation. They don't know how to keep.
Absolutely.
Maybe they can't drive. Maybe they had to learn. I don't
What if
know.
they're Okay, here's what's happening. They're hitchhiking their way
Hitchhikers
to
of the Galaxy.
Green Oaks, Illinois.
Hitchhikers of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
They got their towel. That's I actually read those books. I really like those books. Okay, and one more thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but they're making a movie about flaming hot Cheetos.
I heard that.
Have you guys heard that? No, I'm serious. They're
What are
making
they
a
gonna
movie.
What are they going to do with that?
Okay, so
That's wrong.
it's kind of a big thing. I don't know. Flaming hot Cheetos. Do you guys?
I have a friend who just went to a Flaming Hot Cheetos themed dinner party. She made a Flaming Hot Cheetos cheesecake for said dinner party.
Did that taste awful?
Yes.
I don't know. It was consumed. They also had Flaming Hot Cheeto crusted chicken and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
You didn't eat the cake?
Oh, they did eat it. Yeah. So it must have been okay. I don't know.
So
I wasn't there. I just saw pictures.
I understand the concept of a cheesecake or in food, but a movie? How they
Yeah,
gonna do
what's that?
I don't know.
Yeah, is that like,
cartoon, I
like
hope.
Selma Hayek
No,
or
it's a
something? Like it's like a major star in that movie, right?
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
the trailer for it. I can't remember who's
Yeah,
in it.
Eva
but
Longoria
it's-
is directing it.
Gotcha.
She's very excited about
That's
it.
right.
But I was thinking, I mean, it couldn't be. I don't know. I've seen Avatar 2 and Top Gun 2. Those were terrible movies. They were just terrible. So it couldn't be. I mean,
Well, they're not terrible. They're just predictable.
Top Gun 2 was okay,
They're
but it's just
predictable.
very predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah. You knew exactly what was going to happen at
Yeah.
the beginning.
what? No. Wait. Did Tom Cruise get in a plane again?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 60 years old. I don't think you can even legally fly a plane if you're in the Army. No, I'm serious. I don't even know if you can do that. But I thought there's a lot of different snacks that I would rather see the movie for.
Pringles?
Pringles. That's what I would like to. You know what? That's exactly one of the movies I'd like to see.
Remember Hostess Ho-Hos? Those are kind of good.
I've had
back in
way
the
too
day.
many of those things, man. Oh my
Not for the
god.
last like 25 years, but those were pretty good back.
Yeah. What about a pudding cup?
Oh,
Yeah. Who didn't love
I
that?
would eat that with my finger. I would even use a spoon. I would just.
Would that movie be like a
Don't
horror?
put your finger.
That'd be like a horror movie, like The Blob. Like the pudding is just
Right.
Remember
When
The
you
Blob?
open it, it
Yeah.
comes and
Yeah.
attacks your face or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that concept. Okay, what about like Pop Tarts? The real truth.
Without even toasting the Pop Tarts, I would just eat the Pop Tarts.
Who are
Raw-
you? An
raw?
animal?
Yeah.
Are you some sort of wild beast?
Like foraging.
I did the same thing.
what?
Whoever
Never
toasted
toast
the
Toasting
Pop-Tarts.
was optional.
Never
We
toasted
never,
If
we
you
never
could.
toasted the Pop Tarts.
Derek, toaster?
I've never toasted Pop-Tart.
Exactly.
What is that?
Maybe once or twice. I used to
Toasted
carry those around in
Pop-Tart? You
college.
got a lot of you have a lot of restraint.
Okay, I changed my mind.
Yeah,
I don't
a lot
like it when
of
Derek
restraint.
talks anymore. I've never
lot of
toasted a
restraint.
pop. Oh man, the chocolate. Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, let's get this thing started because we have, oh man, a lot of drinking to do tonight. Wow, this is gonna be so much fun. I can't wait to see Ted on coffee and alcohol. Look at him. He's actually drooling at this point. Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to the Real 3 Idiots podcast. That's right, I'm Matt, and sitting across from me is a man who, after much research, is clearly not the worst golfer I have ever seen by several degrees of magnitude. Several degrees of magnitude. Because I golfed with the two worst golfers of all time this weekend.
Condolence.
The worst. Oh my God! It was like, I don't even know what it was like. I don't even know what it was like. Just picture someone who swung and missed multiple times, and I was playing with that.
So now it's funny because I actually golf with the two best golfers I've ever seen. No,
You have. I know.
no disrespect to you, but these guys were like unbelievable. I mean, they could hit the ball further than I've ever seen a human being hit a golf ball. It was fun to watch, and they were cool about it. And it was like, wow, I was just glad to be part of that. I didn't contribute anything, of course, but it was just fun to watch it. So.
Well, Ted, if you're way better than all the other people, I would be a dick about it.
You
no,
didn't
I
slow-
would.
you
I
didn't
would
slow
be.
him down
I would
too
be a
much?
total jerk about
You
it.
didn't slow him down too much?
Oh, no, I mean, these guys are hitting the ball like 300 yards. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to drive the green. I'm like, okay. And then he basically did every single time.
So
It's
they
like,
waited
wow.
for your 2 or 3 shots, and they were okay?
No, he went first. He just went. He
just
didn't
went.
wait for me. Yeah, he didn't care about us. We didn't exist. He just went like we weren't even there. So
Oh, that's nice. That's the way I kind of. That's kind of the way I am when you're with me. When we're sitting at the bar.
it's like I don't even exist.
Yeah, it's like Ted's right there. I'm like, I did not even know he was there.
So you
It's
kind of
so
golfed.
weird.
You teed off with them. You never really golfed. with
Yeah,
them.
I mean, I was just kind of like along for the ride. So no, we didn't go bowling yet. So let's not get crazy.
There you
now.
go.
So we don't know what's going to happen there.
We did go bowling.
Well, not with
And I
not
beat
with,
you.
Not with the golfer guys. Yes, you did, baby. You had a good day.
Beat you 2 out of 3.
You did. You did well.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Congratulations.
All right. Perched deftly to my right is not Mark. He is once again on assignment. Yeah, it's kind of a secret thing. I don't want to give it away, but he is on assignment. And when he comes back, if he has all of his fingers and toes, he will have been unsuccessful. That's all I'm going to say. But in his place, and a voice you have heard many times, is my brother-in-law, Steve. Steve, thanks for
Glad to
coming.
be back. I'm always the drinking show and the last second
Welcome.
replacement for Mark. So I'm here on his horrible mic, and glad to be here.
I'm still waiting for an invite to Miami Beach with all these good times. So
You have, 1 week, 2 weeks?
yeah. Okay. Well, okay, I won't be going then.
Yeah, you will not be going. Okay, so we have 2 guests in-house today, and you've heard them talking. Fellas, please help me welcome Sonja and Derek Kassebaum from North Shore Distillery.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Glad
much.
to
We're
have you
excited
guys.
to be here.
That is awesome. So Sonja, you said you're the one who kind of does all the talking, and Derek is the strong silent type.
Well, the silent type.
I don't know. You were carrying stuff in. You seem pretty strong
There
to
you
me. All right. So let me get this out of the way real fast. You guys can find them at northshoredistillery.com.
Yep,
Right. And
that's
you guys are right off of 176, just east of Libertyville in Green Oaks. Is that where you guys are at?
Yeah, Green Oaks is a sleepy little bedroom community that's been annexing a lot of stuff. But it's a wonderful place, and they've been very good to us. But it's kind of sandwiched between Libertyville and Lake Bluff.
I've been at Libertyville. I've never heard of Green Oaks.
Yeah, most
I've been
people
to Libertyville
haven't,
a bunch of
yeah.
times.
Actually, I've never heard of Green Oaks, but I've
Me
heard
neither,
of Libertyville
yeah.
and Lake Bluff. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they've been really expanding the village, but historically it was a sort of a bedroom community, just all homes.
Okay.
But they've been adding on a lot of commercial stuff over the last 15 years, so it's starting to become more known.
Yeah, it's a really nice place, but it's so weird because when I was looking at distilleries, I wanted to have somebody come in, right, so we could kind of see and taste and everything. And when I saw Green Oaks, I honestly thought you guys were hundreds of miles away. I'm like, why does this say near me?
yeah.
I'm like, this is not near me. It was someplace I thought was like way down south or something, and I almost didn't click it. And then I was like, wait a minute. And I looked at directions. Directions are good because directions help you know that some things are really close. So that's kind of cool. All right. And then, let's see. You guys have been open since 2004.
Yep, yeah, we're the oldest craft distillery in the state of Illinois.
No way.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep.
That's like 19 years old. I mean, that's
There's so many craft vodkas. So you guys got this going 19 years ago. So how did you start? How did you have this vision, I guess?
You know, I really have to give credit to Derek. I don't know if he wants to tell this story, but he got this kernel of an idea. We've always been spirit and cocktail people, and he just really wanted to, find some opportunity to express some creativity and to put, there's such a reward in walking into a store and seeing something that you made on the shelf, and I think that was a big part of it for him. Cool. I kind of got sucked in along the way. So I was working in corporate America before this, but I wanted to do something else, and he had such a passion for what he's doing that I decided to jump in, and so we both jumped in.
Yeah. No, I was doing consulting on stuff that you wouldn't care about. And so to give someone a piece of paper, some corporation to do whatever with, is different from actually getting to see the the finished product, and that people actually can enjoy.
That is awesome.
Oh, so you had some background in at least the business part of it, so you knew how to do the right things.
Well, we knew a good idea of how to run a business. We didn't have experience distilling, so that was new. The industry was new. We weren't in booze until then.
Yeah.
So all of that was new. We had to learn how distribution worked. We had to learn about how do we get our products out? How do we sell it?
Wait a minute. So you never made anything. You've never made any liquor, and then all of a sudden you're just like, all right, I got to do this. And then did you say you want to do it and then figure out how to make the stuff after, or did you kind of like start making stuff and say, hey, this is really good. I'm drunk all the time.
Well, it would have been a felony to make anything without a license.
Exactly.
So you're not admitting anything right now.
We made beer and wine, and stuff like that at home and stuff. And so that's just an extension of that kind of stuff.
And Derek had studied distillation in college, actually. So he had studied it. I should have
it
known
wasn't-
it was a sign that he was the one who would taste what he distilled in college.
I studied that too in college a lot. Steve, I know Steve did. I was there when we both studied it together, and I thought we should have gotten A's. I really do. I think we should have gotten A's. But I feel like as a chemical engineer, it had to be like a really cool thing for you to decide, like, oh man, you just give me this stuff, I can make this.
Right.
Did you feel super confident?
Well, it was a situation where I'm not risk adverse, but I'm not afraid of, because I have a chemical engineering, I'm not afraid of the process.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's
So
kind of
what
he
it was.
designed our equipment, our process, everything we do. He to manufacture the spirits, everything about it he designed. But so I deal with the marketing and sales more stuff, and
So you
tasting
made-
room and
You
cocktails and stuff.
Yeah, you made ethyl the still. Is that correct then?
That's correct. Ethel the still. I didn't hand designed her. We had her made in Germany. But yeah.
So
Her name's
that's
Ethel.
like that your first thing, or is that the thing you use for everything?
That's the thing we use for everything.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you had that handmade in Germany?
Yeah.
Did you have that made like 18, 19 years ago?
Yeah.
At the very beginning? Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
All right,
And
we need to do some drinking. Hold
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We need to do some
Drink.
drinking. I'm gonna what? Go
I was
ahead.
going to say that's ahead of the curve because I mean when you hear about these distilleries and breweries, that's almost like seems like a recent phenomenon where like that going that far back. I mean that was ahead of the curve at the time because at the time that
Absolutely.
wasn't a big thing as it is now because there's a lot of distilleries and breweries, microbreweries coming up, a lot these days. So you guys seem like you were ahead of the curve back in the day before
Yeah.
that became
we
common.
we were the first in Illinois. There were only 60 of us nationwide when we first got started.
Wow.
And they're
Now-
about 3,000 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what,
Yeah.
40 in Illinois or something
Yeah,
like that?
40, 50 in Illinois.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you,
Okay,
guys, do you
so-
guys ship stuff like nationwide, or can you do that? Is it even legal, or
It's illegal for us to ship anything
Oh,
to
I see.
anybody
It's still-
except for
yeah.
through distributors.
I see.
So we have a network of distributors
see.
across the Midwest. Yeah.
okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That is a
Distributor's
shit.
got to take the cut, just like in the
You
brewery.
know it.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
You know
Yeah.
what? That's one of the things we got to get Pritzker to change. We got to get our governor to change that so anybody can just get alcohol at any point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even want to wait.
They're actually the
Online, delivered to
brewers
my
and
house.
distillers in the state were actually lobbying this year to get the direct to consumer shipping passed, but it didn't get anywhere.
So what's that one site? Drizzle? I heard of that.
Drizzly.
Drizzly.
Yeah, so Drizzly's another company that that also takes a cut,
Right.
but they essentially get it from a retailer that has
Okay.
a license and then deliver it.
So they don't make alcohol. Like
No.
for example, so you can use Drizzly
You
if you
can,
want.
that you can buy our stuff through Drizzly, and they'll bring it to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
Within a certain radius.
right.
Okay, gotcha.
Of wherever they have service and where stores have our
I see.
products.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
gotcha.
But they're working with a retailer to get it and then delivering it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so you sell it to a retailer. Then
Well, I sell it to a wholesaler, who
wholesaler.
sells it to a retailer, who sells it to Drizzly, who sells it to you.
Oh, that makes perfect sense to me. Why would you want to change that?
Yeah.
Why would you? So many people get money. There's got to be taxes in there every time you do something.
Yep, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's taxes on every step of the process. I mean, Drizzly is huge, and it's actually been really good for us because of the convenience factor. We've all learned to want stuff to show up, soon, and so they've really enabled that in a way that didn't exist because most stores are independently owned or small stores with they don't want to have a truck out all the time. So if someone can do a whole bunch of deliveries, it makes more sense.
That makes sense. All right, Teddy, we need to do some drinking.
Yeah.
One more question.
One
more
Ted,
question. Last
Ted.
question.
He's got a question.
Before I forget.
His fingers up.
What's your best-selling product right now? Right now.
Where? Overall?
Overall.
We have two that are really close together, I'd say. Our North Shore vodka and our gin number 6.
Gotcha. Okay. Gin. Interesting.
We'll get into that. We'll get into all that, but first we need to drink. All right. So
All right.
what do we have?
So
we have 2 things. What do we have in front of us?
2 things. So one of our favorite things every year is a celebration we have actually this coming Saturday at the distillery. It's called Midsummer. So it's in the Scandinavian tradition of celebrating the beginning of summer. And so we put up a midsummer pole with flowers all over it. We do a silly Swedish frog dance around the midsummer pole. If you do it, you get a shot of akavit.
Nice.
We make flower crowns. We play kub, which is Viking chess in the yard.
Is that where you just play chess and kill the person when you're done?
No, actually, you throw things. So there is some risk of injury because you're throwing things.
Excellent. I love that.
Yeah. And so it's just a lot of fun, and we have a fire pit, and you flick paper witches into the fire, and you can write people's names on them if you want to.
And then just look across and be like, oh, she made it.
Yeah.
Damn, darn.
So it's a really fun celebration, and so akavit is a big part of that. It's a big part of Scandinavian culture and tradition, and so we thought we'd start with a shot of akavit. So that's what the smaller one is, and then this is a cocktail with the akavit. So we call this Summer in Oslo. It's cucumber and dill and some lime juice and some akavit. So
hold on. Before we drink this,
2 things,
this akavit, this is what they said. I looked it up. It says, if you love a good loaf of rye bread, you'll love akavit.
Yeah, so caraway seed is the dominant flavor in most akavits.
Okay.
Caraway or dill or both. And so ours is caraway. So caraway is the seed that's used in rye bread. So it definitely has a similarity to the flavor of rye bread, but it has a lot of other stuff as well. So it's spicy, savory. It's its own category of spirits.
All right.
Most people just don't know it.
What liquor is it similar to? Well, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let's drink some.
It's not really
It's got its
similar
own.
to anything, and just because it's totally different. It's infused and distilled with spices the way gin is, but there's no juniper, and we age it. So it's got that element as well. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's super close to anything.
How long's the aging process?
So if you want to pass the set down. We aged the equivalent of about 6 months, give or take. It kind of varies.
Wow.
It varies depending on the time of year, just how long it takes. Yeah.
Right.
All right, Ted.
I need the good stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teddy, do you have the akavit?
Oh, yeah,
All
sorry.
right.
One of those
What's-
is larger than the other.
That's okay.
Okay, so is there a Scandinavian
So-
toast?
Yes, there is.
Yes,
Okay.
there is. Okay, so this toast, as taught to me by a little Swedish man, we all have to make eye contact with each other. Then we're going to say some stuff in Swedish.
At the same time? That's going to be hard.
I can't look at
No,
Matt and you at
and
the
then-
same time. I'm not looking at Matt.
This is
then-
going to be like the good, bad, the ugly. I'm
then
looking
we-
at everybody.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know who's going to shoot first.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So everyone has to look everyone else in the eye. Sasvingave,
Sasvingave,
Pukalina,
Pukalina,
Ayen.
Ayen.
Skål!
Skål!
I remember,
Now look everyone in the eye again.
I remember Skull Viking from the Vikings.
Those had to be tough
Remember,
to do.
remember the Vikings game we were at? It says Skull Viking
Oh, Skål, Vikings.
every third down play.
Wow, it does have.
is
It's
good.
almost like black licorice-y. Is that? Am I crazy?
There's some people, there's a tiny bit of aniseed in there, and some people are really sensitive to that and pick it up.
I'm very sensitive.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, but it's caraway, cumin, coriander, cardamom, cinnamon.
It's a different flavor.
All the things that you cook with, not that you drink with. I'm telling you right now. So here's something weird. There are over. You guys ready for this? 200 songs written about akavit.
Oh, yeah.
200 different songs written
don't know any.
strictly about this.
Yeah, it's a unique
Is that
flavor.
crazy?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we had a Swedish Glee club come and teach us drinking songs one year for midsummer.
Wow, those kids must have had a lot of fun. I picture everybody in all those foreign countries like they're totally cool with it. And so, kid come in, oh, I'm so thirsty, I have some akavit. Here. What about water? No. Americans drink water. We drink akavit. Yeah. I don't know why I picture that. All right, this is really good.
I can taste the rye aftertaste.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that caraway comes back and just kind of lingers there with
Yeah,
some of the
very
other
unique
spices.
flavor. Unique, yeah.
Okay, so what
All right.
else do we have here?
So this is a cocktail we call Summer in Oslo. So it's akavit's the base, but we have muddled cucumber and dill, a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of simple syrup for balance.
So this is incredible.
Oh my God!
And I just started drinking. I don't do a lot of cocktails normally, but I love these cucumber ones. So did you
Yes.
create this then yourself, or
This is really good.
Well, so Sonja did. She is our mixologist.
Excellent.
I make the booze, and she figures out how to drink it.
Okay. So how did you come up with this? Because this is outstanding.
It's
I'm
really
so
good.
glad you like it. Yeah, it's well, it's so many of the cocktails that we make today have their roots in cocktails from the 1800s. 1880 to 1920 was the golden age of cocktails initially, and so this is just a foundation. Like this is the build of this drink is not that different from a margarita. It's just that it's akavit, not tequila. I put in the dill and the cucumber, but it's that same kind of balance of all those flavors going together. So you can just start riffing by changing things up. And so it's just really fun to play and pull in those fresh, bright flavors. I love cucumber this time of year. And the dill's from my garden.
Really?
Yeah.
And you guys do a thing, right?
That's good.
Garden to glass or something?
Yeah, we just did last week. We had a woman who's a master gardener in our area came and everyone planted a planter with herbs, and then we did cocktails that used those herbs in the cocktails.
See, I'm for that. Everything you grow in your garden, you should drink. You should add alcohol to and drink. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Do you make tomatoes? Make a nice Bloody Mary. Sure. Yeah. If you make carrots, throw the carrots away and mix them in your use them to mix them up with Bloody Mary. Yeah. Then throw it away.
Yeah, it's
There you go.
really unique flavor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so
What's the ABV in this?
So it's the spirit is 90 proof. So the cocktail is going to be, I don't know, 15%.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's
it
actual
tastes so
rules,
good. It tastes
right?
like there's nothing in
Right.
there right now. This
Yeah,
tastes.
that
so
the drink
mild.
is more than half akavit.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like 90
Is it
proof at all.
really?
In
Yeah.
the bill,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is.
It's
incredible.
so
It's a relatively
so
strong
mild.
drink.
It's so mild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have guzzled that then. Yeah, this is gonna be so ugly. Okay, so besides akavit, you guys make vodka, gin, rum, absinthe, and then this one is made up because we know it's not true. Kumel.
We used
yeah.
to make kumel, yeah. So kumel is similar. Well, it's a caraway liqueur. So, but it's from that same sort of general Northern European derivation, very popular in Germany and some other places. But so it's a liqueur, so it's got a bunch of sugar in it, but it has caraway as the flavor.
And then you make curacao. Am I saying it right?
Curacao.
Curacao.
Curacao, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the Dutch island, Curacao or Curacao.
The Dutch love their drinks.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
The Dutch, did they invent gin?
Well, it was invented in the lowlands region of Europe. That might have been in Holland. It could have been in Belgium. It was in that general region that it was first popularized, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what I do know. I did my research. Gin started out as a medicine,
Yep.
like
most of the
Coca-Cola
spirits-
and heroin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not even kidding you. Coca-Cola when it
true.
had cocaine in it and heroin.
Yeah.
And this is what they said. I kind of looked it up. They said, here's how gin was a medicine. You just took so much, you forgot you were sick.
It made you feel better
Yeah,
for a little while.
Yeah, okay. That's what I said. Alcohol does not solve any problems, but it will help you forget them for a while so you can do fun things.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's get to gin. Gin is made with juniper berries,
Yes.
but you can put literally anything else in it.
Or nothing. Yes.
Right. The main flavor has to come from juniper.
But you could, they talk about putting bananas in it. Like, is that? Have you guys ever experimented with something like that? Like they said, you could put anything. You could put carrot juice in it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We've done special releases. We did a gin that was infused with dates, one with black tea. We also did rhubarb ginger gin.
And Alfonso mango gin.
Yeah. And Alfonso mango.
What's an Alfonso mango?
Oh, they're the best mangoes in the world. They have a 1-month season. They come from India.
And we got them
Sounds
the
good.
second year they were allowed into the United States as a fresh fruit. And,
They were extremely expensive.
yeah.
But every day for a month, we were peeling the ones that were perfectly ripe to make our mango gin.
Wow.
My parents had never had a mango, but they were here and they helped us with that. And so now they love mangoes.
Oh, I've had are they different from a regular mango?
Yeah, they're just really bright in flavor. There's just a special flavor that they have. They're really, really popular in India, and they weren't allowed in the United States until right before we got them. But they're considered the king of mangoes. Yeah.
What do you charge for a bottle of those?
The mangoes were like, we were lucky to be able to buy. They let us have like 25 cases.
Yeah.
They didn't discount them at all because they would sell
Sure.
them. Yeah. So I don't remember what the gin went for.
I have no
It was
idea.
probably like $35. But
I mean, that's
How much are the
that's very
mangoes?
reasonable. That's reasonable.
I mean, what's a
Yeah.
mango like $1?
yeah, well, in those mangoes, it was $40 for 12 mangoes. I mean, so they
Wow.
were really crazy expensive.
That seems like something I want to have
Yeah.
really bad. Like I just want to
Yeah.
try one.
I mean,
April
$35.
to May is the season. If you go to Patel Brothers in Chicago, that's
Oh, Patel
where we
Brothers.
got
Yeah,
'em
actually,
from.
that's in Niles, right by Golf Mill Mall.
Yeah, because
Patel
they were
Brothers, yeah.
involved
There
in
were one there,
the group that they had to do a lot of stuff to get those mangoes approved for importation into the United States, and they were part of the group that did that.
That's really cool. You know, I
Yeah.
passed that place up a million times, and I've always wanted to go in there
Yeah,
just to
it's
see
like,
what's.
it's like an Indian supermarket, superstore. I've never been in there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Used to
You
be
can
Toys
get
R
some
Us.
cool stuff in there. Like you can buy fresh tamarind. You can get all kinds of crazy stuff in there. It's
I
one
don't
of
know
our
what
favorite
tamarind is.
places. Oh, it's one of our favorite places to go. Is to get ingredients that you can't find other places, and then play around with them. Sometimes we make really disgusting things that way. Sometimes we make really interesting, cool things.
Okay, so that's what I would. Yeah, right.
I could drink this stuff all night. This is really
Yeah.
good.
I want to understand this. So, like, you make the alcohol, but you're the mixologist. So, how do you have all these ingredients and all these great ideas? How does it happen? How does like a great drink happen between you two?
Well, a lot of it is at this point, because we've done so much experimentation, we can have an idea and a place to start, and then you start tweaking. So we just try to take notes, and you can only do that so many times because after 4 or 5 trials, you're like, oh, this is the best one ever, I'm sure. And then the next day you're like, what was I thinking? So yeah. So I mean, so some of it is, but we also take a lot of small sips of things.
We don't take small sips.
Yeah, no, well, this, of course not. But
Here's what I would like
we
to do.
taste new spirits first thing in the morning at like 7 a.m. with no coffee, no nothing, because that's when your palate's really sharp.
So
and
do you-
so,
so you guys
but
take-
it's a little
Oh,
tiny
wait a minute,
sip.
wait a
So
minute.
it's like a steakhouse.
Wait, hold on.
It's
That's
like-
why they're so happy.
No, Derek is
That's
looking.
right.
Derek is
All
looking
the
over
time.
at me, and she keeps saying small sip, and he keeps doing this. No, what is she talking about?
So I went to a good steakhouse in Reno a few years ago, and actually this is the first steakhouse I went to. They actually give you sherbet before you eat your meal to clean your palate. Do you guys do that, like to clean your palate so you can fully taste what you're, to make sure, like sherbet or something like that, to just completely.
Yeah, sometimes when we're comparing batches to make sure we're consistent, we try to, kind of cleanse the palate so the next one kind of see what the difference is.
And so volunteers. I mean, I don't know what Steve and Teddy do, but at 7 a.m. I have absolutely nothing going on. So if you needed someone to test even the worst possible ideas, I mean, I would be like, that is terrible. Whoa, I'm not sure. Hold on, let me try one more of those. Yeah,
I could get to Green Oaks at 7 in the morning. Yeah,
yeah, I could be there. I'll be there at 6:45.
real soon.
So you do like a customer like samples where, let's say, you bring in like a small group of people, like a sampling of people to like test your, because like say you test so much.
Oh, market research.
But yeah, market research. So you have to bring in like a group of people to to get like a sampling of like what the general population might like. Do you ever do something like that, perhaps?
We don't do that per se, but we do a lot of events out in the world, like at liquor stores and bars and restaurants. And
Gotcha.
so each one of those is a focus group in essence.
Focus group, yeah, focus
because
group,
that's each time we're out talking to people, we're listening to what do they say, how do they feel about it, what are they looking for. So we really end up getting a lot of direct feedback because sometimes Derek and I are actually there at them still because it's valuable for us to just talk with people and hear what they have to say and what do they think.
Sure.
Oh, so wait, do you sit off to the side like you're not part of it and be like, oh, this stuff is great. And like, oh, man, this is the greatest thing I ever had. And Derek's just like, see, I told you. And then somebody's like, this is the worst. And she's like, she look right at you, Derek, and go, yeah, that was crap. That was. I told you it was going to be crap. So here, let me ask you this, though. Husband and wife,
Yep.
that's got to be tough in a business. If a husband and wife were starting a business, right, together, what was the toughest thing you guys had to overcome? Like, what's the toughest part of working with your significant other?
I think one of the lessons we learned early on was that it was important for us to have some dividing lines of things that each of us is primarily responsible for. So, like, we have areas where I'm responsible. I'm going to get feedback and get input from Derek, and he has things that he's responsible for, and he's going to ask me for feedback and input. But he owns those decisions, so we're not constantly arguing about all the things because there's so many little things. Sometimes we struggle to figure out how we're going to get done the stuff neither one of us wants to do.
Right.
So do you have a go-between? Are there people is there someone you hired to be kind of like that, because decisions have to be made, right? At some point,
Yeah.
decisions have to be made. And if you guys are kind of at a loggerhead, if you guys are kind of at an impasse, is there somebody else you go to and just say, listen, this and this? And you know?
Not really. We generally, I think, work really well together and balance each other out. And so we've gotten to a place where we talk about it. If we're not ready to make a decision, then we just don't make a decision. If we have to make a decision, then we make a decision and we move on. If we have to, then even if we're not sure, we're just going to have to pick something and go. And that's what we do. And then we try not to look back and just deal with what comes.
Because that's got to be a tough part of it. I mean, if Teddy and I are doing something, we can argue and fight, but then he's going to go back to his basement and, I don't know, hang from the ceiling, whatever he does at night. I don't know.
Are you guys
And I get to-
married? Are you
yeah,
two
and I get
married?
to- no, but I'm saying if you're just working with a partner,
like a gargoyle.
like when Teddy and Mark and I, when we sit down and we talk about the show and we talk about doing different things, right? We can do this and do that and everything, but we're all going to go our separate ways, and it's not going to affect that other part of our relationship. So that's got to be different. That's got to be a difficult thing.
Yeah, I think we've figured out a way to make it work. I mean, we've been married 31 years and been in business 19 years.
Congratulations. Good
So
for you.
yeah, so I think we figured it out. You know,
Yeah, but it's just, and absolutely, I feel like we figured it out, and I think we still just really like spending time together. Like even when we're not working, we still enjoy spending time together, and so there's still that strong relationship underneath there. But we definitely just had to find ways to work together.
That's good.
And drinking at 7 a.m. helps.
they
Sometimes
don't sell out. That's right.
How could that possibly
There's the
hurt?
truth.
How could that possibly hurt? I just think about all the jobs I've ever had, and if I would have started them with just a couple of drink mistakes and then gone and finished up, I think the day would have been so much better. I really do.
So here's the funny thing: do you think at this point, all the beta testing you've done with your liquors, do you think you have yet to discover the perfect, like the best selling liquor you have yet to discover, or do you think you already have it?
Oh, I'm sure we'll come up with something new and
something that's
interesting.
going to be like wow, it's like the wow factor where it's like, I mean, we know there's a lot of liquors on the market, obviously, but there's probably some. I mean, like this stuff was great. I mean,
How many do you create a year? I guess that's to follow up with his question there. Is it 1 or 2 drinks a year? Or are you more than that? Like every month you're doing something, a new craft?
Well, we're doing new cocktails all the time because
Okay.
we really adjust for the season. That's more in our tasting room and our marketing. Working on new products, it sort of depends on the flavor. And, we've had some family stuff going on, both of us, the last couple of years and with COVID and everything.
Yep.
But we're definitely planning to put out a new product later this year that we're really excited about. So we're back to that. That's part of, I think, the fun of this for Derek is that opportunity to be creative and to innovate and to experiment and try something new. And I get to do that all the time with cocktails. Sometimes I have to do it more than I want to, but I just do it because we need new,
You
it's
tough
fine.
through it.
You just do.
Tough through it.
Right, and it's fine. And we have some great people on staff now that I can really get involved with that too, which is really helpful. And so, but I think, I don't know if you want to add on, but Derek is definitely getting a little more opportunity now to play around, and that's really exciting for us.
Yeah, I think spirit-wise, we don't put things out as often as we do cocktails, of course, because we need new cocktails for our tasting room. But yeah, some of it is not really focus groups. It's kind of what we're the focus group. If we don't like it, we're not going to make it.
sure.
And so we hope other people will like it. And we're not trying to make $1 billion out of this. If it happens, great. But this is kind of our lifestyle,
Yeah.
obviously.
So this is like your full time job then. This is
Yeah.
like what you
Yeah.
guys
Oh yeah.
do.
We've been
That's
doing
great.
this full time
Yeah,
for
it's
the
great.
entire time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
So,
absolutely.
in the middle of the night, you just wake up and you just scream like avocado juice. We're making avocado juice, and so he's just like, no, 7 a.m. It's not. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. At 7 a.m. we'll start drinking.
But it's 5 p.m. somewhere
Yeah,
else.
that's
It's
right,
always
yeah.
5 p.m. somewhere.
5 o'clock somewhere,
Somewhere,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I mean, do you have epiphanies? I mean, have you
Sometimes I think they happen about 3 and 4 in the morning. But yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
had? So now, do you do what I do? Do you? I'm not messing with you. Do you have a notebook and a piece of paper, like a notebook and a pen, next to your bed? And just so you don't, because I've woken up with really good ideas that I've forgotten, and I've stopped doing that. And I just have a piece of paper. I just have a notebook and a pen. And I literally wake up half. I'll be like, Ted's tips. Oh, that seems like this could work. Yeah, Ted's insane. Yeah, and just write something down. Did you do that?
We tried to. And I've learned to take more notes. Usually I do experiments, and I'll do it into a container and put a container on the shelf and say, I'll remember what that is. And then, I don't know.
Post a note.
It used to be 2 months. Now maybe it's a week, and I don't remember what that is anymore.
So
and I spend half my time retasting things to figure out what I tried.
So have you ever made something like great, and that you didn't know what it was, and like literally spent time trying to like did someone ever say this is the greatest thing I've ever tasted, and you're just like, yeah, I made that at 10 a.m. and we started tasting at 7. I have no idea what's in there.
I've had one that I had to do that. I had to kind of re-engineer because I wasn't exactly sure. Actually, one of them was I made a mistake during my experimentation, and the mistake is the reason it worked. And I had to figure out what the mistake was before I was able to replicate it.
That's the tweaking you mentioned before, basically.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. Right, because it's often like when we're working on new products, and same with cocktails, it's an iterative process. So you start with the first go. Okay, maybe I want to change this way, that way, and then change it, and then try it again, and then change it again, and just until you get it to where you think it's the best, and then you sit on it for a little bit, come back to it. Do I still think it's the best? Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have some
Yeah.
more to
Oh,
drink?
yeah. So today is National Martini Day.
did not know
So
that
I
until walked
thought
in.
we should have a proper martini. I brought little mini glasses,
I don't think I've ever
though.
had a
Thank
martini.
God, because
So-
this is going to be really. Oh man,
I think I've had a martini
I feel
for
like-
years.
No,
These are just, this is
never
just
in
ice
my
water.
life.
It's not ready to be passed.
wait, Teddy.
That's just my chilled glass.
I'm not interested.
I was
Oh, so
filling
she is.
the
So she
glass.
is. Oh man, this is awesome. Okay, so Derek, while she's doing that, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, it's my favorite question.
All right.
What do you know now that you wish you knew right before you started?
Oh boy. That's a good question. I really don't know. I think everything. It's. I wish I really understood the fact that everything takes more money than you would expect.
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
Just add 20% to everything.
At least
Minimum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was a challenge. Oh yeah, we got a miss.
Listen to
There you
this.
go,
Dude,
there you go.
she is.
Shaking the martini.
She is rocking this thing.
That's good. I like that. I don't think I've ever had a martini before.
What? And I've never had a martini in my life.
Shaken, not stirred.
No.
Shaken,
Here,
not stirred.
I will tell you something I learned today. A dirty martini. This is why things are gross. You know what a dirty martini is?
I do not know.
Olive brine added to gin.
Yeah, it's just olive
Olive-
juice.
Really?
It is literally the disgusting juice from disgusting olives
know that.
poured into a martini.
And some people love
Thank
And it
you.
worked,
I
and it
agree. I
works.
hate olives.
And it
I
works.
do
I
not
love olives. That's the one
understand
I-
that.
But
That's
you
what
know
I
what?
like, actually.
I was hungry.
like
I
olives?
remember I was
I love
golfing one
olives.
time.
I've never seen you eat an olive. You
I was
son of
golfing
a-
one time. It was
time.
9 in the morning. I can't stand olives. I was starving. I had a Bloody Mary with olives in it. It was so good.
Oh,
you were
yeah,
just,
I've had that.
Just
Yeah.
suck that down. Olives with the green with the little red thing in the middle. Yeah, I ate that whole thing.
Okay, so I'm not letting you off the hook. Just money.
All right.
So money is the thing. But I mean, what do you know now that if you knew back then would have made things a lot easier? I mean, keeping in mind
Well,
you've been wildly successful.
besides like writing things down when I should. I think also giving time for things to happen. Sometimes it just doesn't go as quickly as you want it to. And so we have federal approvals we have to deal with. We have all kinds of things that you have to plan ahead and try to do things. I don't like planning ahead.
It's a
I just do
process.
it right that second.
So that's
But
what I was
there's
going to
a long
ask you.
process.
There's laws and things that did you know all the laws you had to deal with and all the crazy stuff, or did some of it jump out at you and kind of really bite you in the ass at the beginning?
Well, some of it was just really difficult to deal with. We were dealing with, in state law, we were dealing with rules from 1934 that had not been changed. And we had state
Prohibition.
Yep, prohibition. That's exactly why.
That was a great idea, federal government prohibition. Yeah,
That's
good,
right.
good one.
I mean, we couldn't have a tasting room when we first got started because the state law still didn't allow it for distilleries. Because after prohibition, nobody could have a tasting room, and every state had to make exceptions for the wine industry first. And then when people started with microbrewing, they changed the rules for breweries, and no one had made a change for distilleries.
You're the last ones in, basically.
That's right. And since we were the first, no one had asked for a law change. So we were dealing with a situation where we couldn't even market our stuff in our front door. So
Do people come to you since you were the first? I mean, we talk to different brewers and stuff, right? And different people. They kind of have like a little band of the groups. Do you talk with other distillers and do you help other people out?
We
do they
do.
come to you with ideas?
We do some. Unfortunately, distillers are not as friendly as brewers, and so we're not quite
They're
as
competition. They're competitors as opposed to being allies.
Yeah, it seems to be more hostile than it is in the brewing industry, and so sometimes it's more you treat each other as a competitor more than someone who everyone floating the boat sort of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, as the first people, I mean, you've got to have a little bit of knowledge that nobody else has. Do you ever? I think I read something that you give talks and stuff to help people out. Do you kind of share some of the knowledge with people in a way?
I think in certain situations we do. We ended up making hand sanitizer during the beginning of the pandemic, and one of the regulations to do that legally. Sonja had to go through a lot of hoops to the point where she was trying to help others to do it.
Yeah. So when we were making hand sanitizer, the FDA and the TTB, which is the federal agency that regulates us, had to give us special permission to do it because no one could get hand sanitizer. And at the time, we thought COVID was about the touching of the things. So everyone wanted hand sanitizer. And we have beverage-grade alcohol that could easily be turned into hand sanitizer. So they made a pathway for distilleries to do it. But the FDA said we needed to register. So I'm a lawyer by training. And I'm also a applied math computers person from my undergrad. So it essentially was kind of a combination of a programming legal thing to get through the FDA's website to register to make hand sanitizer. So we were the first ones to actually get through all the hurdles. So I wrote a guide because I wanted everyone in our industry to do it. If we're going to do it, let's do it the right way. Let's show that we can contribute here. So we wrote a guide to help everyone else do it, and I gave it to the FDA and said, hey, you need to give this to people. So people would do it the right way. But then we got the first FDA inspection about hand sanitizer as well.
Have you ever? So I actually invented some biotech stocks long ago, so I'm familiar with the FDA. So have you ever gotten a complete response letter from the FDA? Where it means like, say it's like a clinical trial, you're advanced, and then they said, oh, you didn't do this right, so you got to go back to square one and do this again. I'm sure it doesn't apply to you guys.
We were only making it over the counter.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah, it's hand sanitizer, Ted.
But no, trust me, the FDA.
Yeah.
Talk about bureaucracy.
Well, you don't want to mess around with them. You don't want to mess around with the FDA. Just same with the TTB that regulates us. But it was just interesting that we. We definitely have tried to support others in the industry, and like we used to organize Chicago Craft Spirits Week and do a lot of things to promote the industry as a whole. And we were on the original board for the trade group, but because there are some members that treat it like competition and not cooperation, or that like we can all work together to promote our industry, we've gotten a little sour taste in our mouth a little bit about some of it because of what
I've seen Yellowstone. Yeah. I understand. So what is the American Craft Spirits Association?
That's a trade organization that was started a number of years ago to promote craft spirits made in the United States. So craft spirits can be craft distilleries, but it can also be people who purchase things and blend them together or pay someone else to make them. Or
wait a minute, I can buy 2 bottles from a place, pour them together, and I'm part of the American Craft Spirits Association?
Well, you'd have to be trying to market a brand and sell it, But
yes.
Yeah.
You're actually making it where they can actually just put 2 together and
and blending
mix.
is a whole other art. But there's a lot of the spirits at the liquor store. The companies promoting it and marketing it didn't make it. There are a lot of contract producers, they're called, that make things for people. And so then they're a marketing company. But so that organization allows marketing, but it's actually a trade organization. So it's part of the complex political world of a new frontier of craft distilling in our industry because it's new. There was a American Distilling Institute, but that was run as a for-profit enterprise by someone who isn't a distiller. So the American Craft Spirits Association started as for the trade, by the trade kind of a group, but they felt they wanted to be more inclusive, so they're not just distillers, they're also... And so like the Illinois Craft Distillers Association now allows companies that aren't distillers in the state to be members. So like Beam and Heaven Hill are members when Beam just has their corporate offices here.
Oh, wow.
So it's just sort of like we're still trying to figure out how are we differentiating, how are we promoting our industry, and what is it that we're trying to do. But it's
No, I like that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so what are we drinking now?
this is a classic dry martini.
This
So-
smells unbelievable with the
This
lemon
is a
peel
big
on it.
bad glass of booze. I'm just warning you.
Okay,
Right.
so I'm sipping this.
Sip
What is
some.
in this?
Maybe I
Don't
shouldn't have
slam.
said that. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. We need to get him to drink more.
yeah. No. So,
So
what
this
is
is
this?
gin and vermouth.
Okay.
That's it.
Gin and vermouth.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's our gin number 6, which is our flagship gin. It's one of the highest rated gins made in the United States. That's why it's so popular. Vodka's still,
Waka.
yeah, it's a big glass of gin. But this is what we have every Friday night when we get home from work because Fridays are martini night at our house.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
And we,
So you drink it? You drink at work? Then you don't drink at work.
Don't really drink at work. Try not to
Really,
drink at
don't
work.
really
yeah.
drink at work.
That-
Except at midsummer.
Except at 7 a.m.
Except at midsummer, yeah,
Yeah.
and when we're tasting new
This
things.
is very good.
Oh my
But
god,
it's boozy.
that is
It's
really
a sipper.
so
Dude,
that
that is really boozy.
that gin. Well, yeah, it is. That gin, we designed it specifically to make our martinis. This
Yeah.
is what I wanted a martini to taste like, what it to smell like, the aroma, what it tastes like, the finish to it. There's a bit of a floral in the finish to it. It's got lavender distilled into it, believe it or not. This is, we kind of designed, if I'm going to make martini gin, this is what it's going to be.
It's funny because
good.
it's so much smoother. Like I've had gin, and it's just kind of a nasty, kind of icky thing.
I have a
this is
taste-
really smooth.
I have a
Right.
taste aversion to gin. Back in college, I drank a bottle, so I hate gin.
A
but-
week,
Was
every
that,
week.
a lot of
was
us
that,
have
was
that
that 21
experience.
shots for your 21st birthday type
No,
deal?
that was just me drinking
Oh,
a bottle
just-
of gin.
The only thing I had.
So, but the scent of this with the lemon peel is unbelievable, and it actually is pretty good.
Yeah, it's
for me,
very
someone that
smooth.
hates gin.
Hey, that lemon garnish
You know,
really works.
And we hear that. It's one of the
I'm gonna
things.
finish this.
Yeah, that's excellent. It's one of the things that we find really rewarding about what we're doing is like with this gin. We've had so many people say, "I didn't think I liked gin until I
Yeah,
tried this gin," and it just kind of turns people around into that gin isn't like sucking on a pine tree. Some of them are, because cheap gin, they take vodka and add juniper flavoring, and now it's gin.
Beefeater, is that the cheap
What?
gin? The cheap-
No,
yeah.
Beefeater is actually made in the old school way. I
Okay,
think.
gotcha.
But
That might have been the bottle they had.
Nice, yeah. Nice gins though. You actually put real botanicals. We hand peel fresh lemons for every single batch
Yeah,
of
that's
gin
really
we make
good.
that Derek really designed to create. So the way we think about gin is that the base spirit is a canvas and the herbs are the paint that we use to create scents and flavors. And so we're building all these layers of flavor, and this is just our this is our flagship.
That is awesome.
Really good.
Now, here, I do my research. I love my research. In the 1700s, as gin came from, from the Dutch and came over to England, in the 1700s, gin was blamed for the huge uptick in crime, prostitution, and death rates.
Well, one
So
in
if we
4
finish
homes
this-
was being
oh.
used to make gin at that time.
Wait, what?
1 in 4 homes in England was being used to make gin.
I thought that was. I
Jesus
thought,
Christ! How did they get any? No wonder they lost all of their
Yeah.
colonies and all that stuff.
I
They
thought-
were all hammered drunk.
I thought that was Rivers Casino that was blamed for all that.
Holy crap! That is insane.
Yeah. No, there's a very famous painting from that era called Gin Lane by William Hogarth that has people dropping their kids in the street and they're just like passed out in the middle of the street because the Dutch the English made a Dutchman king of England in 1689 and he promoted domestic production of gin in England. I'm kind of a booze nerd, sorry.
No, that's cool.
So anyway, so he did a little too good of a job of popularizing it there, and so then they started to clamp down on it and try to tax it and restrict it. But in the mid 1700s, it was a little out of hand.
1 out of every 4 houses is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This sounds similar. We had the Prohibition Museum on, and very
Yeah.
similar
Oh,
here.
cool. Yeah.
It's basically everybody was just drunk, and the men who did all the work weren't going to work. They were getting drunk and weren't coming back. It was kind of enlightening. Like I'd never heard this
When
before.
they had so many workplace accidents back
Right,
then, and
right.
the brewers were controlling everything anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, man, gin is like a kick in the teeth, man. I don't know if I've
this
ever
is
had
different, though.
Yeah,
This is-
I don't know if I've ever had
Yeah.
a martini
This is
before,
so
but yeah,
smooth.
that is really cool. You know what this needs? A little olive juice.
No, that would make it so much worse.
Yeah. Oh, here, another little
Yeah.
research. Gin and tonic. What country was it invented in?
India.
Anybody?
I was
England.
going to say India.
India. They put it together.
But the British were.
Yeah, they had taken it
Controlling
over.
India at the
they
time.
colonized India, so
controlled
what's the
it.
difference?
Okay, so you want to know why they did it? Because they were taking the malaria medicine, and they needed something to wash down the disgusting taste of the malaria medicine. That's how gin and tonic started.
Interesting.
Yeah, because quinine is a medicinal treatment for malaria, and that's what's the bittering agent in tonic water.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, well, that's also how you get the gimlet, which is another classic gin drink.
Oh, the gimlet. I heard of that.
So the way they got the British sailors to take their non-alcoholic lime juice so they wouldn't get scurvy on the boat was to put some gin in it.
How listen, let me ask you. I just don't understand this. They ran the world for how long? I guess until alcohol came, right? And then they just shit the bed. It just seems like this is a bad idea. Giving a bunch of sailors.
Well, you know, the discovery of quinine for malaria actually is what allowed them to go into all those parts of the world and to control so much of the world, because they could keep their people from getting malaria. Otherwise, malaria would just knock them out. That's how they were able to take over India and all the other places that they went. Yeah.
Right.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this: How long does it take to become a really good drink maker?
Well, I think it depends on how much time and effort you put into it.
No, but I mean, think about it. Like
Yeah.
if you're putting things together and you're trying stuff, when do you become good at it? How long does it take? You think?
I don't know. I have a hard time answering that. I mean,
What about for, like,
there's
three novices like us?
There's the technical how to do it. Like when we hire new people in our tasting room who don't have any experience, some people take to it really quickly, but because they cook a lot and are used to layering flavors, and so have sort of that natural sense of it. But if that's something you haven't done before, it's going to be longer. So we have people who can learn the techniques, and you can learn the technical piece of how to use a shaker, how to stir a cocktail, all these things and how long and whatever. That's one piece of it, but then actually knowing how to layer the flavors is another piece, and so it sort of depends on how much experience I think you have with cooking or other things where you're layering flavors.
Don't you do a class at your?
Yeah, we do lots of different kinds of classes. So we definitely do hands-on classes, and we do seasonal classes to just try to give people some inspiration and some ideas.
Field trip.
Yeah.
So I got a dumb question. So if you guys got hired as a bartender anywhere, you would be like the best bartender ever, right? Because you can make pretty much anything, right?
She
like if
would.
you just got
Absolutely.
hired, let's just say you got hired somewhere with just say you went to a place like Four Seasons Hotel or somewhere, just like, hey, you're the new bartender, no training, just jump right in there. You could probably make anything, right?
I could probably make anything cocktail-wise, but I would struggle with their wine list.
Okay. Well, that's easy, right? Well, I think like 80% of people would just want beer, but the hard stuff, that's the stuff.
Okay, so do
Yeah.
people come in? Obviously, you've been doing this for a long time. Do people come in, and do they ask for like a drink? Like, are they trying to stump you, like purposefully, like I want a Russian gym shoe or something? And then when you go,
Is that a drink?
Okay, I
The
get it. I don't
Screaming
know what that
Viking,
is.
I think, was in
The
Cheers.
Screaming Viking.
That's right.
They just started
With or
putting-
without cucumber. That was the Cheers joke.
You know what? No, funny story. When we were in college, my wife now, we're there, her sister, a bunch of people. We've got nothing left over, and I'm going to make a drink. And so my future brother-in-law and I go into the kitchen, and we just start pouring a whole bunch of crap into a giant pitcher. And we walk out, and they ask what we made, and we said a Screaming Viking.
Did you really?
Yeah, and everybody drank it. It was great.
That's a real drink?
Listen, when we were done, we found some purple Kool-Aid, right? And we just put 2 scoops of purple Kool-Aid in this giant pitcher of just nothing but every kind of alcohol you could possibly find. And we stirred it up, and then they drank it. They're like, this is really good. What's in it? And I'm like, that's a secret.
Sounds like a witch's brew. Stirring it up in a cauldron.
That's right.
Dude, that was so funny.
We called that Wapatui Punch Party.
There
Same
you
thing,
go.
just punch and just every liquor in there, and it was actually delicious, and everybody got really drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, but do people try to stump you? Is it
Sometimes people do, but often it's because they went to some restaurant that had a drink on their menu that they thought maybe it something other people know when it was just custom to that place. So that happens fairly often. People are like, well, can you make I have this at this place. I'm like, no, that's their recipe. I have no idea how to make it. It's not like a drink that is in the cocktail canon.
do
but,
they?
yeah.
Okay, do they ask you for like a regular drink and then have you put something stupid in it? Like I'm trying to think, like I don't know, like something where it's like, put in a little that tequila sunrise. Can you just a little squirt of chocolate syrup? Do you ever get that?
I had someone recently ask for olives on a Cosmopolitan.
My God. And after you took them outside in the alley and beat them up, what happened? Did you just leave
Nothing.
them
I
there?
served it to them, and they said they loved it, and I thought it was very strange, and I worried about their taste buds.
Is that like ketchup on a hot dog type deal?
Well,
No, it's
I think
worse
it's
than that.
worse.
I love olives and ketchup and hot dogs.
Yeah.
I love both of those things.
Olives and cranberry juice don't really work.
Well,
The customer's always right, though. So as
Right,
long as
if
they were
that's
happy.
what you want, right? But no, sometimes like yesterday or whatever, yesterday, day before, they all blur together. We had a couple come in.
wonder
I
why.
really thought it might be the first time ever that we'd have two people sitting in our bar who were both drinking beer. Because we're a distillery. We pride ourselves in our cocktails. But she tried to order a margarita. And I'm like, well, we're a distillery, so we make spirits. We do not make tequila. Tequila comes from Mexico. She's like, oh. I'm like, so I could make you a daiquiri, which is basically a margarita with rum instead of tequila, or a gimlet, which is basically a margarita with gin instead of tequila. And she said, well, I'll take a daiquiri with vodka.
What? Oh my God! So you have to make some. I mean, when people come in, okay. So here, I found this. Tips for ordering a drink. Okay,
Yeah,
so
all right.
this is tips for ordering a drink, and they said first thing you want to do is always say please and thank you. Do people do that? Are people back to please and thank yous, or do they?
I think we're really lucky. We have wonderful customers. They're very nice people. They come to have a nice time, and they tend to be very polite and patient and kind and courteous like that for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and the other one was it says don't ask for a super complicated drink when it's crazy busy.
100% true, but people don't care. Sometimes they do it anyway.
Okay,
Like
so
a
that's
mojito is a very challenging drink to make if they make it properly, but people will definitely, if they see one mojito go out, people will order them. Like a Ramos Gin Fizz, never order that on a busy bar.
okay.
It's a
what is
delicious drink, but don't do it.
that? What is
Yeah.
it?
So a Ramos Gin Fizz has gin, it has lemon and lime, it has a little bit of sugar, it has egg white, it has cream, and it has orange flower water. And the tradition of it is it has to be shaken for a really long time, served in a tall glass, and the foam should go all the way up the glass and up over the top so you could stick a straw through it. So it's a traditional New Orleans drink. It's delicious, especially at breakfast. If you're at brunch, it's a wonderful drink.
Breakfast
A lot
again.
of
But,
early morning drinking.
But
What time you guys open?
7 a.m.
don't order it in a really busy bar, a cocktail bar, because it takes a lot of time and effort for the bartender to make it. So
What is the most popular cocktail right now? Mojitos I've seen a lot in the lately.
the margarita is the number one cocktail in the United States. The old fashioned is the number one
I love
cocktail in
those,
the
yeah.
world for the last 5 years
I
running.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really, an old fashioned?
I didn't know
Yes.
that. Yeah, wow.
I feel like my older buddies kind of order that, but I don't hear people ordering that. But I don't really go to.
Bitter, it's got bitters in it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, the old fashioned is actually an old school cocktail from the 1840s.
That's right.
So it's mostly a whiskey cocktail now, but back in the day, it could have been brandy, gin, whatever spirit you had.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but it originally was spirit, sugar, water, bitters. That was it. So it's called an old fashioned because it was the old fashioned way to drink when the newfangled cocktails were coming about in the 1880s to 1920s. Or
Oh, I
1920s.
love that.
pure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what else do we have to drink? Speaking of drinking,
So we have, I'm going to use these glasses you have here and your
Oh my
fancy
God.
ice cubes because I feel like we should use those.
oh man, this is going to be such a bad deal. I love it. I absolutely
Should we-
love it. All right,
Should
so,
we do the drinks?
so
the
Derek-
shots or no?
Huh?
Yeah, let's do
oh,
some
yeah.
shots first. Why not?
Why not?
Pass them out, sure.
As a chemical engineer, if you watch Breaking Bad, I think of you as the Walt of the alcohol as opposed to the...
Walter White.
When I read your bio, that's the first thing I thought of. Like
Was
you
it?
in a
Yeah.
trailer, like figuring this out.
It's
the desert.
that or Willy Wonka, one of the two.
Those both ended really badly for everyone.
Yes, they did. So who knows what's going to happen for us?
But just trying to understand, like, the flowers and the plants and the stuff that you're mixing into this stuff. I mean, it takes a special mind to actually figure that out. Even think about that.
I spent a lot of
Walt,
time.
I mean, Derek,
Yeah, there's a lot of training, personal training of figuring out what flavors are, and when I taste something that's coming off the still, which is the best time to taste it when the still's running, to actually know what's coming out and able to identify everything. Yeah, it takes a lot of
And
teaching.
again, no training whatsoever. This is all just
This was a lot of trial and error. This was taking a lot of time to just figure it out.
Did you have anybody that you could talk to at that time to help you?
No,
Going to
not
bar,
really.
like, did you go to like bars? Like, it's like, hey, this is a great drink, and then just like pick their brain.
Oh, we used to go.
And just
You know,
ask
one of
them.
the things that got us into this is that every time we were at a bar, if there's a new bottle behind the bar, we had to see it. We, come bring it over here. Let us taste it. Let's see what the heck
Yeah.
this is. And we still do that. We found a bottle of cherry herring, but it had a different name to it at an old bar that's been around pre-prohibition. And I researched it on the phone, sitting in front of the bar, and this bottle was over 50 years old and was sitting in the back of the bar.
And was unopened.
No, it was open, I think.
Oh, no, we opened it.
Oh.
We asked them to
I
open
remember.
it.
But yeah, we're like, we want to try that. And he's like, are you sure? I think I should ask the owner. Like, no, it's okay. We're professionals.
I drink at 7 a.m. for God's
It
sake.
was, high enough, it was high enough in alcohol. It wasn't going to be spoiled.
That's right.
I like that because food, you got to be worried about it going bad. Alcohol, I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
In most cases, that's true. Right.
And I passed the whiskey too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what is this?
So we have our whiskey. I'll let Derek tell you about our whiskey. This is our American whiskey. And then we have a classic smash with the whiskey.
Okay, I read
So I'll
about the
pass
American
around.
whiskey. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you made this. It said you only get this at this distillery, correct?
Right, yeah.
Correct. And
We make 2 styles of whiskey, but thus far we've barely kept ourselves in stock because they've been really popular at the distillery, so we haven't sent them away from the distillery yet. But our plan is to get to that point.
Wait,
Hopefully soon. Yeah.
So the cocktail.
The cocktails, what's in the cocktail?
So we have a little glass that's the whiskey all by itself.
Oh, okay.
In the cocktail, it's a very simple cocktail. This is actually a cocktail from the 1860s. Could have been made with a range of spirits. It's that whiskey with fresh mint, and I use mint from my garden, lemon, and a little bit of sugar for balance. So you could add some fresh fruit to this if you wanted to liven it up for summer. You could definitely do lots of stuff with it, but it's a great classic summer drink.
And it's a smash. This
Yeah,
is
it's a
the
smash,
category.
so it's called a whiskey smash.
Whiskey smash.
So
Yep.
what's the smash part of it?
So any drink that's a smash has lemon and sugar and mint in it. But so you could have a gin smash, a brandy smash, a whiskey smash.
So this whiskey smells different. So what's exactly in the
So,
American whiskey?
so our American whiskey
does.
is the same recipe as a bourbon. It's a sour mash bourbon, except for the fact that we age it in both used and new barrels. To put bourbon on the label, it has to be in a brand new barrel. All of it has to be.
Okay.
So because we use used barrels, it's lighter in color because you don't get as much color because color comes from the wood. The flavor also can come from wood, and new barrels provide more wood tones. Because we use some used, you're getting more of the grains. So this is mostly corn, a little bit of rye in it. It's a high. If it was a bourbon, it would be a high rye bourbon. But because the fact we use some used barrels, it's a little lighter. It's a little different in flavor. The sour mash process also enhances some of the flavors that you come in to contact with bourbons, because it's all new barrels. 70-80% of the flavor is actually coming from the wood, where now you're actually getting the spirit itself in this one.
Interesting. How long's the aging process? How many
So
years?
so it's a combination of barrels. So the youngest barrel is 6 years old. The oldest one on this particular bottling, I want to say it's 9. My memory doesn't always that great. Anyway, but
It's written
6 to
down.
9.
but it's written down again. I wrote it down. It was very important.
Ted, give him that paper and pen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
he's got a lot of
I got an
ideas.
idea. Hold on.
He's got weird pictures on there, but
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's fine.
Wow. This just seems so incredibly wild. Like, you could kind of do anything, right?
We can make anything we want. We can't sell it per se, but we can. I mean, when we make absinthe, and when we started making absinthe, it was illegal to sell.
What exactly? I've heard
I
of
have
that
no
for
idea
years.
what absinthe
I have
is.
no idea
Yeah.
what absinthe is. What is that?
Absinthe is a traditional. It's an anisette, which is a licorice kind of a spirit.
Okay.
Where there's 3 herbs that have to be in it. One is anise, one's fennel, and then the other one's called grand wormwood, which is very notorious. It's the thing that people The screw is the idea that you create hallucinations and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
So
the proof?
absinthe is a very nuanced, very high proof spirit.
Yeah, what's the proof?
The dominant flavors are the anise and fennel.
What's the proof of that?
Typically, green absinthes are about 120 proof or a
Okay,
little
yeah,
higher.
that's up there.
Oh, I've seen some as high as 160.
And you could see
too.
150, 160.
Yeah.
So what it is a very herbal, very intensely complex spirit infused with aniseed and fennel. But yeah, the grand wormwood is the ingredient that got it in trouble. So grand wormwood's plant name is Artemisia absinthium. You have to use it to make proper absinthe. So, but it was reputed to be hallucinogenic or driving people mad. So it was banned in most of the world in the early 1900s. It's only been allowed back in the United States since 2007. So, but we started making it in 2005. We just couldn't sell it back then.
Because Everclear is grain alcohol, right? That's like 190 proof. So that's like I don't know if they sell that legally anymore. The highest proof alcohol I've ever seen in any liquor store, it was some type of overproof rum. It was like 160 proof. That's the highest I've ever seen.
You can find
legally.
Everclear 190, but not in Cook County. It's illegal in Cook County to sell it. If you come up to Lake County, you can still buy Everclear or Spiritus Rectifani, which is Polish Everclear.
Gotcha.
Right.
But so you can still find stuff up to. But interesting property of ethanol, which is the alcohol that we like to drink, it's not stable above about 190. So if you distill it higher than that, it will pull water from the air to bring its proof back down to 190, 192. That's where it wants to be. So even if you made it higher, it's going to come back down.
So what's the highest proof alcohol you sell, just in general?
Our absinthe at 120.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But we distill. I mean, so vodka is just anything that's been distilled to at least 190 proof, 95% alcohol. Once you do that, no matter what it is, what you made it out of,
It's vodka now.
it's vodka.
Yeah.
So that's
So
the
can you make
definition of
vodka?
vodka.
I mean, what can you make vodka out of? Just out of curiosity.
Milk?
Any single thing that has sugar in it.
Stop.
we
Wait.
have had a milk vodka. So there is a particular type of yeast that will convert lactose into alcohol, and you distill that
If
up
you
to
can
the proper
ferment
amount.
it, you can distill
So
it,
what
baby.
does milk vodka taste like?
Taste-wise, it's pretty much like vodka. It was the nose that was bad.
It smelled a little bit like milk in an off-putting kind of way.
Oh, a sour milk. I
Yeah.
take it as sour
Does
milk.
everybody run to the bathroom after drinking that? Or?
No, it's still vodka, but yeah, in a White Russian maybe, I don't know. But the same, we also on that same occasion tasted one made out of maple sap, and so if you tap your own trees and make vodka out of it, that was delicious. But it was also really expensive because you have to have a lot of maple sap.
I have a tree. I have 2 trees in my backyard. Steve?
Start
So-
tapping.
Steve,
Start
tomorrow. What are you
tapping
doing
them.
at 7 a.m. tomorrow, Steve? Yeah. We can listen, we can't make it right away, but we can drink. Yes,
we can.
Yeah.
Anything you can ferment, anything that has sugar that's fermentable, you can distill it into alcohol. And if you can distill it, you can distill
Okay.
it to 190 and make vodka.
All right, Derek, what ridiculous, stupid things have you tried to make vodka out of? Come on.
I haven't done a lot of. The worst thing I've ever done is worked with kiwi. And
I love kiwi.
Oh,
No.
it's delicious,
Right.
right? Oh, it makes a horrible spirit. Oh, it was so bad. I don't know why, but it was
Lychee,
just,
also terrible.
lychee. Yeah.
Okay.
It had the smell of like crabfish.
They
or
smelled like
something that.
fish.
It was
It
horrible.
was
That's not
gross.
good.
Oh my God, that sounds terrible. Okay, so let me ask you this then: what is something? Okay, so you're sitting around one day and you're just like let's try this, and you're like, this is never going to work, and it did. What's something that you never thought would work and actually did work really well?
Oh, we made a spirit with mustard seed.
The mustard guy
We
should know
made,
about
we made a mustard liqueur called Ethel's Eye of Newt Cordial because
That's right.
Eye of Newt is the folk name for mustard seed.
Oh my God, we had the guy from the Mustard Museum up in
I
Wisconsin.
saw that.
saw-
Oh, that museum is
would-
awesome.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
went there?
Yeah.
He would. Did you tell him about that?
No.
You got to send
He
him
would
that.
literally
Yeah.
lose. I'm gonna. You know what? I'll email him and let him know. He would. He will absolutely lose his.
I think maybe we should. We recently discovered a bottle from my parents' liquor cabinet. I feel like we should donate it to the Mustard Museum.
Oh, you
Maybe.
should.
Oh, he would go.
I think we should. That
he
would be
go
a perfect place for it to live.
Absolutely crazy. Okay, so what's an idea that you thought would work 100%? Is it the kiwi that would work 100%? Was the worst idea you've ever had?
Oh, I've had a few worse bad ideas, but I would say the kiwi was probably the worst.
It was terrible. It was really bad. It was like barfy, kind of. It was really
Oh man, at 7 a.m. That's got to be terrible.
So do we have to look at each other when we do this whiskey?
if you want
American
to,
whiskey?
you know that looking at each other thing that we did before comes from. It's considered rude not to look people in the eye when you're drinking with them. It comes from the same place that clinking your glasses together comes from. That's
okay.
Because that's about mixing the drinks together. So if one of these is poison, we're both dying right now. No. And this is, are we good? Are we?
So this is like a Princess Bride thing.
This is really
Sonia's
good.
scaring us a little
I
bit.
clearly
now.
cannot
I
drink.
guess.
I can clearly not drink the whiskey in front of Derek because he would. You've given everything away.
I'm scared. Derek has looked me in the eye yet. Okay.
Now you're okay.
All right, are we ready, Teddy?
Okay.
Let's do
Sure.
it. Oh,
I didn't see Matt.
Cheers.
This is such a terrible idea.
really
I
good.
never drink hard up.
Matt just threw that over his shoulder. By the
No,
way.
Matt drank. Oh,
I
my
watched
goodness.
him. I was watching.
Oh, wow.
I would have seen.
Here, I'll follow it up with my smash, which
There you
is
go.
a terrible idea
This is
because
really
I'm just
good.
getting more
Oh,
alcohol.
that's great.
This part's really good.
Yeah. And I picked that mint that's in that I put in the top. I picked it right before we came.
So my wife has a garden. I want to
Yeah.
put mint in every drink I have,
Yeah.
and it's unbelievable.
Do not put mint in the ground, though.
What?
What?
I hope you didn't plant mint in the ground.
Where would you
I have no
plant
idea.
it?
It will
in the
be
sky?
in your yard soon.
Oh,
It's
in a
a
pot.
very invasive plant. I have it in a barrel. A planter, yeah.
I'm not sure where it is.
I hope it's in a
It,
planter.
it might be in the planter that your son Jackson made for us. Right?
Oh yeah,
I
my
hope
my,
so.
my son Jack built what do you call it? What's that thing? A pallet planter.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I hope it's in that. Yeah, just because, mints are invasive. They will
Interesting.
invade your yard.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's horrible.
all right. Well, you know what? I can't grow grass in my yard, so I might as well just grow mint.
It'll
You
work.
could. At least they'll smell nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me ask you
Yeah.
this: things you should not ask your bartender. So you've clearly made drinks for people for a long time before you had
Yeah.
help, right? Derek, did you ever help making drinks? Or is that your thing?
Yeah, well, I didn't I avoided it for a long time, and then yeah,
I had to have surgery and be out for a while,
and so
he
I
had
had
to help
learn.
cover.
So then I learned how to bartend. Yes,
Yes.
but
Oh.
I avoided it until then.
It is so funny because if you look at Derek's face, if you could see his face, he'd be like, "Yeah, I did this shit because I had to, but I will never do it again." I feel like that's what you're saying.
I'm really going to avoid it as much as
Yeah.
possible.
Okay. So you ready?
Yeah.
Why is my glass not full? Question to not ask your bartender.
Yeah, that's a fair question not to ask the bartender. Sometimes people think like on a cocktail glass, which is like, so this is technically a cocktail glass. We're holding up the glass you serve a martini in. A martini is a drink served in a cocktail glass, but people want it filled to the brim, and it's like, but you're going to spill that on your shirt. Like, you can't drink that.
Oh,
it's
because
not
it's
meant to
kinda-
be filled
yeah.
all the way full.
Okay.
It's meant to be served a little bit less than that. And so we try to go over, like when people start asking those kind of questions, we explain the build of like, there's 2 ounces of booze in there. So it's not like
You're going to
we
get
shorted
drunk.
you on the drink.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever been accused of serving weak drinks.
No,
Well, I think a better question is, so I bartended years ago, not as good as you guys, but so at
the bowling alley, right?
people have been overserved. So someone who's like clearly inebriated, for example, and they order like, "Hey, I want another drink," and you got to give them a drink, but you can give it with way less alcohol to make them think they're getting a drink, but they're really not.
For sure. And it's
Yeah.
mostly water or
Sure.
soda water or whatever. For sure.
Dilute it,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's a trick. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another one. When somebody comes up to you, you're not supposed to ask this, what's good here?
Oh, we get asked that all the time. And
That's
to
a
which
bad
we
question?
say, everything's good here.
Right.
What do you
I
like?
mean, we make it.
Right.
Right.
What do
So-
you like?
So I do this
Yeah.
all the time when I go, and my daughter used to hate this idea, and my son too. But now they do it all the time. I'll walk in, and we'll go to a restaurant or we'll go to a bar, and I'll be like, "Hey, man, listen, what do you like? What's really popular? What's really good here? I don't know. I'll take that." Because I've never gotten steered wrong. Do people just say, "Listen, I'm here. It's hot outside. It's a beautiful day. Make me a drink."
People definitely do that, and we do that all the time, for sure. But when I'm the person making the drink, I'll ask them, like, okay, give me a couple adjectives. Like,
Of what you like.
Of what you're in the mood for or what you like. Because it's just like, am I doing whiskey? Am I doing gin? Am I doing fizzy? Am I doing boozy? Am I doing, like,
Okay, I'm doing
fruity?
whiskey.
Am I going sweet?
Ooh,
Am
yeah,
I, what am
here,
I
right?
I'm doing
doing?
whiskey. So what is the thing that I want to walk away from your place with? And I love whiskey. Like I love the American whiskey that I just have. What cocktail do you recommend?
If it's wintertime, I'd go with a classic Sazerac, which is one of my favorites. It has a tiny whiff of absinthe on the glass. It's sort of a New Orleans old-fashioned. That's the way I think of it, because you use Peychaud's bitters and a little Angostura. It's a really nice, delicious drink, still whiskey forward. But in the summertime, I love this drink, but I might muddle in some blackberries.
Blackberries.
Ooh. Okay, Teddy,
You know,
hit her
yeah.
with. I know So we go to a restaurant. We go anywhere. Ted orders Crown and Diet in a short glass. Yeah, that's all he orders.
Or Collins glass.
Or Collins glass.
There
Yeah, he
goes
learned
Tom.
Collins glass. I didn't even know what that was either until like 2 months ago. But all right, Teddy, let's just say they have no Crown.
We don't have any Crown.
What and you don't know what you
This
want.
is way better than Crown, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
What do you ask? Say you want a recommendation. She's going to ask you a question. What do you want?
I'm gonna probably want some bourbon whiskey. Not necessarily like over 100 proof, but just something like a good bourbon whiskey with whatever at your discretion.
Do you want it fizzy the way you would get with that Crown and
what's,
ginger?
I'm sorry. What's fizzy exactly?
So like bubbly, like with bubbles. Do
I don't
you
like.
want it?
Yeah, probably no bubbles, but just
Okay.
something. Yeah, just something.
Because your Diet Coke's got bubbles.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah, I know. Don't-
She's questioning you.
it's a flat diet Coke, right?
yeah, don't-
It came from the gun.
Yeah, exactly. And so, isn't it true that diet soda makes the alcohol go in your bloodstream faster because it gets in your bloodstream quicker? Allegedly,
I
That's
have
what
heard that
I've
too.
heard that.
I have
I've heard
heard that too, yeah.
Scientifically, yeah. So
Yeah, I've heard that too.
yeah.
I think it's the bubbles myself.
I think you're
Because
right.
if I drink beer, goes to my head way faster than cocktails,
Yeah.
and I attribute that to the carbonation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's
Really?
What's your guys' attitude on beer? Do you guys like beer?
Oh yeah, we love beer. Yeah.
I'm not a beer aficionado personally, so I'll drink it
No?
once in small
Yeah.
doses. But yeah, that's not.
no.
that's
Let me
not my
do
first
it.
choice.
Let me do it. This is what Teddy does.
Not my first choice.
Teddy says to
When
me,
he's
"We'll
not
be out at the
drinking.
golf course. Yeah, when I'm not drinking, I'll drink beer." That's what he says. I'm like,
Same
hey, man.
difference.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm
water.
It's detox.
No, Teddy will be like,
Detox.
"You drinking?" I'm like, "No, man. We're gonna play golf. I'm just gonna drink water. I had enough last night." And he goes, "I'm not drinking either." Yeah. And I'm like, what do you got? He
Derek
goes,
was
"It's a Coors
telling
Light.
me
It's
that
not
he
even
heard
fake."
that on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome. That was my favorite. Man of my own heart. We also have the Wheel of Indecision in the
Yeah.
tasting room.
Wheel
If
of
people-
Indecision.
If
Yeah.
people don't know what to pick,
If you don't want to make any more decisions today, you spin the wheel. Let the fates
I love
decide
that.
what you're
Yeah.
having.
That's right.
Sometimes you don't want to choose.
Wait, so you have a wheel that people can just spin and just say, "That's what I want"?
yep.
Yeah,
and what number
but
it
you
hits,
you
that's
have,
what you drink.
You have to accept what the wheel gives.
So I love that. So
that.
so we went out to breakfast the other day. Oh, you weren't there, Teddy. We went out to breakfast the other day, and the guy says, "Oh, what do you want?" I said, "Oh, I'll take this." He goes, "How do you want your eggs?" I said, "Just you decide. Just do
cook
it."
'em.
And he goes, "You're gonna have to eat it." I go, "Yeah, look, if I gave a shit, I would tell you I want what I said. I don't know what I want. Just make some eggs. I don't care how you make them. I'm gonna eat it. They're eggs."
He give you a
I mean,
hard-boiled egg? What
Yeah.
do you give me?
No, he gave me scrambled eggs. I thought he would be way more creative.
Right.
I really
Poached or
thought he had a
something.
chance. But you know what? Then I thought he's probably afraid to go out on a limb.
Right.
So when people
Yeah.
say that, you probably don't make something crazy because you're just like, "Man, I could make the greatest drink ever." This guy's going to bitch and moan about it, and I don't want to hear it. Do you go standard? I mean, if somebody does that, do you just go standard so that you don't
if they
get
give
that?
me, try to get the adjectives because that's going to tell you a lot about how sophisticated of a drinker are they actually, and what is it are they looking for. You know, because it's like some people are actually looking for something really layered and interesting, but more people are not, and they just don't know what they want. And so I try to just get some adjectives and then
Which is great
Yeah.
for the concept of Wheel of
No, I think the
Indecision.
most-
you pick up on those
I
people,
think
and
the
you're
most
like,
thing
just
is-
spin the wheel.
Just
I
Be
think
done
most,
with it.
most people don't know what they want. They just pretend they know what they want, but they really don't. So they say, "Oh, I want this," but they really don't know that. So they're just saying that. But until they actually
No,
get
it's
it,
true. We had the
Yeah.
beer
That's true.
guy. We had the beer guy on, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, "I don't like this kind of beer." And he opens it up and he pours it. And I'm just like, "Yeah, I like this." And he
Yeah.
goes, "I'm like, damn it, I don't even know what I like."
Yeah.
I'm 56 years old. I'm getting what I like wrong. I'm like, this is so depressing, man. I'm just doing
and
it
it's
wrong.
so confusing
Yeah.
in beer and probably in cocktails too, because like this category or this type of beer you hear about and like you have one and you don't like it. Like a lot of people think they don't like gin
Like me,
because
right?
they
Yeah.
had one bad experience
Yeah,
with gin and one
exactly.
kind of gin.
Yeah.
But it's a huge category and there's a lot of stuff. So like whatever certain style of beer, you might think you don't like all of them because you had one that was really terrible.
IPAs for you.
But
Yeah. Yeah. So how many different kinds of gin do you make?
4 right now.
How
We
many
used to
different?
make 5. We're down to 4 now.
What about vodka?
3.
Wow. And
And what's the best one?
So how are they- wait, but
the
how
gin
are they
number
different?
6 was the best. That your most
Gin
popular.
6 is our flagship. It's
Your
our best
flagship.
known. We also make one that's more old school. It's a little bit more like making out with a pine tree.
It is.
hold on,
bit
hold
more.
on. I was in college.
Sometimes you want
We've
to make
all
out
done
with a
it.
pine tree.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Sometimes you do.
It's our gin number 11.
I don't
where
recall- I don't recall
The
that.
juniper goes to 11. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like serious pine
here-
tree.
here, I'll
That's
give you
why
exa-
it's named number 11.
I'll give you an
yeah.
example. I've been drinking since I was 18 years old, and honestly, so I mean, I drink the same thing most of the time, but 2 or 3 drink tonight. These are great. And
Yeah,
I
unbelievable.
I had
Yeah.
one the other day. That was really good. So I don't even know what I want, and I thought the smash thing was great with this whiskey.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. I didn't even know that. I've never tasted this before. This is tremendous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
See,
awesome.
that's why you got to go to
Yeah.
a place.
So I didn't know that either.
Like you
Yeah.
got to go
I
to a
didn't know what I-
place
I didn't know
where,
what I
where
wanted.
somebody like
Yeah.
Sonja is at, and then just kind of just be open to either like doing the adjectives
Yeah.
or spinning the wheel.
Yeah.
And just it's just
Yeah.
a drink. It's it's
Right.
not like it's life changing. You know, you can finish it and be like, that was okay,
Right.
but you can spin it again.
Yeah, this is
Right.
great.
And our general rule is honestly, like in our tasting room, if someone orders something, like if it has an ingredient that's challenging, like absinthe in it, we'll say, "Are you familiar with the flavor of absinthe?" Before we'll
Before
serve
they-
it to
they hate
them,
it,
so
right.
that they know what they're getting into. Because sometimes people have no idea what they've ordered. So we try to help them pick something. We want them to be happy with what they choose. So, but if they order something and they thought sure they were going to like it and they hate it, we're going to make them something else. Because life's too dang short to drink something you hate.
Yeah, but you know
Just
what?
something
It's also
else.
too short to just not finish it and move on to the next one.
I finished it.
All right, so let me ask you this: what's the worst advice? You've been in business for 19 years, correct?
Right.
Yep.
What's the worst advice you've gotten? Think about that. Because people have to come in all the time and tell you, I mean, I'm sure when you started this. So let's go back in the Wayback
Something
Machine.
you
Derek's
didn't
got
take,
something. Yeah.
something
Something
you
to-
didn't take serious.
Right. So let's go back 19 years in the Wayback Machine. You had parents, friends, relatives. We're gonna start. We're gonna make our own cocktails. We're gonna start brewing all this stuff. There had to be people who are just like, oh, these two, right? First of all, but what was the worst in that time? So from there to what's the worst advice you got?
I don't know.
I don't know. We intermittently get really bad advice, mostly from people who come into our
All
tasting
the
room
time.
having never been there before, and they're like, "Well, you really need to do this, this, and this to be blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "You have no idea where you even are right now. Like,
How many
what is the
smashes?
matter
How many
with you?"
smashes have they had when they do
Like,
that?
I know. It's just
Oh,
like
sometimes they just walk
amazing.
in,
They
like-
just walk in. They're like, "Well, I can't believe you're blah 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 blah. This is blah blah," and they're just like, "Like you've never even been here before. You have no idea what's even going on
Sounds
right now."
like Sounds like Cookie Monster.
That's how it feels. That's how I internalize it. I'm like,
That is. So people just come in and just like, you need to do this and this and this and change.
Oh, all the time.
occasionally, yeah.
Wow. But you know what? You know what's funny? Same thing with this. I mean, we've been doing this for about a year and a half now. And so my friends listen and people listen and I get stuff, just so much stuff online. Some of the stuff is just mean. It is just mean. But
Right.
but people are just like, hey,
Sorry about that.
yeah, you shouldn't let no. You should never talk about this. You should never do that. Why is Ted on the show? And I'm like, hold on. Ted's the reason we're doing the show. Yeah, I'm like, what are you guys? You have
what
no
is
idea.
that? with you right
I quit
now?
30 episodes ago. By the way, I tendered my resignation. You just never got
But
it.
it's really weird. Okay, so let's flip side that.
Right there.
19 years you've been doing this. Best
Yeah.
advice you've ever gotten. Did someone actually come in and was there someone as you were doing things and kind of like getting your own way? Is there something that came up that was really good advice or something that you found that was just like, you know what, this is a really good idea?
Oh my goodness, these questions. You have to
I
think.
know. After cocktails.
Yes. And they've been drinking. By the way,
You know, you're like a real.
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like-
we've been drinking
You're like a
that
real
first.
pain in the ass right now. You know that?
No, listen. This is things. I mean, listen. You guys went out on a limb. This is
Yeah.
what's impressive to me. This is always what's impressive me. All the small business people we've had on, right? They've all gone on a limb where if this doesn't work, you're in a bad place, right? I mean, honestly, if this didn't work, you could have gone back to work, but I mean, you were in a bad place. You would have put a lot into this. So this is something that's really important to you. So was there anything that someone really helped you with that kind of really changed it? It might not have been, but is there something that somebody might have said or done or something that you saw that really kind of helped you kind of move through any kind of tough times?
There's definitely been moments and people that we've encountered who have really, like, in a fundamental way helped us build that foundation to keep going, of people who like come in and they get it and they become a cheerleader for us and they embrace what we're all about, instead of sort of, want it just like, we've had people who've come mostly to see how much stuff can they get from us, versus people who want to be part of it and want to help us build it and want to be, cheerleaders and supporters. And we've made some really great friends from those people, and really got to, learn more about our community and people. And so I'd really attribute a lot of it to some of the, both people in the bar and restaurant and liquor store industry, and also people who come to our tasting room who we've gotten to know, have really helped support us and help us keep going. And I really appreciate that and value that.
I think it is. I think it's a collection of things that you hear along the way. So there isn't one piece of advice that was the miracle.
Right.
But it was these little things that you hear and you go, oh, wait a minute, I can add that to what we do.
And incorporate that, and it helps, chart the course a little bit further, for sure. Because it's like we've always talked about, like, that we, in this whole journey, like, we don't hit home runs, we hit singles. We just keep hitting singles. But you can win a game hitting singles. Right. So you can win a game that way, but it just takes time. It's a longer term. And that's but people help us get to the next one each time, too.
Is there any way you guys could play for the White Sox?
They need,
I know, it's been so brutal.
They need guys
this
getting
week.
on base.
Oh, God.
They need base hits.
They need everything. Yeah.
So
it's so brutal this week. Yeah.
So can I see North Shore Distillery in most liquor stores then in the Chicago area, or where you guys
in a lot
distribute
of the
to?
bigger and a lot of the smaller stores, we try to make sure we look out for the little guys too, because we're little guys.
Okay.
But Binny's has been a huge supporter of ours for a long time, so we're in there. We're in some of the Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, okay.
Yeah, Sunset Foods and Heinen's up by us are some local grocery store
So
chains.
anybody should be able to find this if they look for it anywhere
Absolutely.
locally at least.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you got to do
try.
it. You got to stop. Here's what you got to do. You got to stop looking at the big guys, right? And find some local stuff. And I do that a lot with beer. Again, I just don't drink real hard. I'm not a big hard liquor guy. But it's all those little things that if you don't find the little guys who are busting their butts every day, who are waking up, who are putting in effort, waking up at 7 a.m. and drinking for you. They're drinking for you, so you don't have to do that.
We sacrifice.
Yeah. But I mean, you want those people that are so into it. I mean, it's so cool. We're sitting here with people who are making this stuff. You guys are drinking this stuff. I love the concept.
Plus, it's a better product. When you think about
Absolutely.
it, it's a better product.
Absolutely.
With the bigger guys, it's just the marketing. It's not really the product. The product's okay, but the smaller guys, it might be a better product. They just don't advertise as much. They don't have the budget. That's all.
Let's Derek talk on that. I mean,
be realistic.
You're doing all this, and you're making this. What are the big guys doing compared to you? Like, why is yours better?
Well, I mean, we are actually using real ingredients. I mean, we're peeling
from the garden. From Sonja's garden.
Yeah.
Sonja's garden. We're peeling oranges that go into a citrus vodka. We are hand peeling. A big company is not going to peel enough oranges to sell 20 million cases.
Right.
It's not going to happen. So
They're
going
gonna
to
use
they're
a
going to
lab-made
use
flavoring.
a lab-made flavoring, where we are hand using actual ingredients, putting it into the still, using the crafted distilling to make it. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
But we're not Bacardi, so we're not. Bacardi owns Grey Goose. They own big brands, and those are the biggest sellers because marketing sells.
Marketing. That's all.
It is all marketing.
Not necessarily quality, just marketing. Right. So,
but I mean, if you were to taste two things, one thing from Bacardi, one thing from you, is it night and day? I know you made it, so you're going to be,
biased.
Of course. But I mean, is it that much better?
I think in many times, every time we've ever done it, there's a
testing.
difference. Like if you put our citrus vodka that's actually infused and distilled with oranges, lemons, and limes next to one made in a mass production facility, there's a huge difference both on the smell and on the taste. And so you can really see it. And I think in our gin, like it's much brighter in the layers of flavors of what you get. But it has to be something that is meaningful to you, and that's something you care about, and you want to know where the thing, that if you choose to make a cocktail, that what you're choosing to put into it is something you feel good about drinking.
Right. But honestly, some people drink things that they think they're supposed to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And
There's the marketing that comes in.
right,
Right.
And so it's the status
It's
of
about
that
what
you're
it
drinking
says.
this, not
Yeah.
the quality that you're actually
They
drinking.
don't say give me a really good rum and coke. They say give me Bacardi and
Right.
Coke.
Right, and it used to happen a lot, certainly with Grey Goose, is like people would order Grey Goose. Like, I think if you gave them a blind tasting, I'm not sure they could pick the Grey Goose.
Oh, I'm 100% sure.
Absolutely
they
not.
could.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
But
for sure.
But they cared about what it said about them, that's what they ordered.
Right.
And whether they'd admit that or not,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's just
But
marketing.
it was
That's-
definitely
that's just marketing.
And it was
Right.
the absolute
Yeah.
before then, and then now
And now it's Tito's.
it's Tito's.
Yep.
Tito's is the absolute of today.
Yeah. Which, I've,
Which I mean, they've been very smart. It's a fine product.
I've
They've
tried
done a great
Tito's.
job. Yeah.
It's okay, but it's not. I'm not in love with it. You know. But,
No.
but it's
It
marketing.
is-
so
you know
it's,
what?
it's
No,
very
no,
it's very psychological.
Yeah,
Very
we're very
much.
sheeple.
Very psychological.
Right? We're
Very
very
much.
sheeple.
Sheeple.
Right?
Yep.
And it's
a good word.
If I'm going to say Kim Kardashian or some person who has a billion followers says that something is good, all of a sudden that thing is good, rather than people who, really like the taste of something. Like I would tell you right now, I would have
It's terrific.
this Smash thing.
This smash thing's great.
This is what I want.
This is great.
This is what I wanted. Remember, Steve? Remember when we were in Costa Rica?
Tamarindo.
This would be the perfect thing to have if you're on a beach. You're anywhere. You're on a beach. You're looking out at an ocean, and you have sand in front of you. This is what you should be drinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say you should also drink it in your backyard while you're pretending you're on a beach.
That's right.
Right. Remembering when you were in Costa Rica. Yeah. Because the next thing you know, you
could wear
strip
the
down-
T-shirt
Yeah,
and-
No, I agree.
There you
No,
go.
this is great. So
Yeah, and Teddy, and listen, Teddy I've only seen Teddy drink Crown and Diet. Yeah. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, so I'm going to ask one big last question, and then we'll do our last thing. Okay, advice for people who are starting their own business. What would you say to them?
Make a plan, but don't be afraid to actually do it.
Don't be afraid. I like that. Were you guys afraid a little bit at the beginning, or no?
We're a little impulsive. We eloped in Las Vegas after dating for 2.5 months.
there you go.
Nice.
I like
Yeah,
that.
so-
way!
Yeah.
31 years later?
Are you kidding me?
Nope,
No.
that's our
Good
story.
For you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
He's,
Good for you.
as he said before, he is risk neutral to risk seeking.
He did say that.
I was risk averse. I'm now risk neutral. So, I mean, but a lot of people talk every day about, like, that they wish they had done whatever and started. And I think there's a lot of fear for a lot of people because there's so many unknowns. But we knew we were just going to get older and more risk averse. So if we're going to do it, we got to do it now because it's just going to get harder to do.
Yep.
So if it's something you really want to do, make a plan, be smart, recognize you need more money, all those things.
Money always
But
helps.
do
Money
it.
helps.
But actually do it.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have a plan so you know how you're going to cover yourself while you're doing it, but do it.
Wow, that is really cool
Great
because
advice.
I feel like most people are afraid to do that thing, right?
Yep.
Right? Like we could probably all look back. We won't do it, but we could probably all look back on a thing that we wanted to do that we didn't do, and you guys don't have to look back on that. That is a really cool feeling,
Right.
to be like, I took the jump off, and whether it works or doesn't, and it did for you guys, but that's a really cool feeling to be like, I took the ultimate jump, and whether it worked or not, I did it. I stood on that cliff, and I saw somebody else jump, and I said, fuck it, I'm going to jump. That's really cool.
Although I have to say, we were one time in Hawaii and we watched someone jump off the side of the cliff
Oh my
into
God.
the ocean
So-
because
so-
they
so-
saw it
so-
on YouTube.
Oh my God, did they die?
Was
they
it-
really shouldn't have done
Was that Derek because he's risk averse?
Suicide or cliff diving?
There was a guy.
I know.
a
you
native-
pushed Derek. You pushed
a little of both.
Yeah. No. There was a native guy saying, yeah, people come by here all the time and do that, and they just, like, dive. I mean, because the currents where we were could, like, call you off to Tahiti, man. Like you're not supposed to jump.
Wait, so Derek stood up there. And,
No,
and he's
he
like,
didn't.
no.
I videoed it. We stood on
I
the
said
side and
something
took
wrong.
a video. No.
Oh no, so I like it. So Derek went. Listen, I could jump off of there, but why don't we start a distillery?
And she said, no, go ahead and jump.
Do that first. We'll see.
I like that. Like she said, jump. So she said, with her hand firmly planted on your back.
That's right.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so this is how we end it. I don't know if you guys ever listen to the end of the show. We always end it with our last thoughts. Okay, and we never make the guests go first, so you don't
Okay,
have
good.
to worry about that. I always go last, so you guys won't have to. Teddy, last thoughts.
I was going to say kudos to you guys. Thank you for being on. And I like taking risks too. And so you obviously guys.
What?
I take risks.
No, you don't. You take zero risks.
Whatever. So anyway, kudos to you. As a fellow risk taker, I congratulate you.
He's going to start taking risks. Maybe.
Yeah, because the biggest regret is having regrets. So don't have any regrets. Congratulations. So and obviously your drinks were great. Thank you for being on.
Steve-O, last thoughts.
Last thoughts. Today is a big day, Juneteenth. This is a big day for our country. I want to throw that in there.
For you?
Well,
Oh,
not
okay.
for me, but for
Everybody.
for the black
For
community.
everybody. Right.
It's a big thing, so I want to
For
say
somebody,
something about
okay.
that. And for me, I was able to make it here and step in for Mark and enjoy these great drinks and meet Sonja and Derek. So I'm glad to be here.
Hold on, I was drinking. Awesome. All right. You know what? I'm going to save Derek. Sonja, last thoughts.
Okay. Thank you so much for having us today. This has been an absolute blast. Yes, and I think it's really important that we have Juneteenth as a holiday in the country, and I think that's really great. But thank you for having us today. It's been really fun to talk drinks with you.
Yeah, it has been really fun. Okay.
Oh no.
Derek, I know this is going to get very technical, so don't
Very
be afraid
technical.
to take the jump. Last
right.
thoughts.
This was a lot of fun. Obviously, I don't do this very much. I'm not allowed in public. So,
Neither am I, Derek. Neither am I.
so there we go.
I don't belong here.
He considers beer when not
This is a
drinking
basement. This
thing.
isn't public.
Yeah.
I think Ted and I have more in common than anyone really understands.
And by the way, after the show, we both quit. We fucking quit.
Whoa, Derek! I don't know if you know how big this is to say that you and Ted have a lot in common. Because, we're gonna get a lot of that on social media. All right. Wow.
We're gonna go to Derek's Tips next week instead.
There you go.
Oh man, that would be awesome. I love that. Okay, so I'll finish it up like this. So glad you guys came out here. I love having small business people come out here, and I wouldn't even say small. I mean, the first distillery in Illinois. That is so. I mean, when I do my research, even I didn't know that. I did not even know that, and I pride myself on trying to know more than people think I do. I know because most people think I'm an idiot. I have no
That's why you
idea
have the show.
But this is so impressive. I mean, if there's one thing that we kind of get from all this is, number one, don't be afraid to drink at 7 a.m. because it will make you extremely successful.
I'm not.
Yeah, I know, Teddy. Yeah, we were on a golf trip this weekend, and believe me, there's 7 a.m. was late for most of the guys when we got out there. I was just like, I'm not going to drink till noon, and the one guy goes, why are you going to wait 6 hours after I started? I'm like, oh man, but yeah, I just think it's so impressive that you guys are, have that ability to do this thing and take this thing to a place. And just make it. I mean, if you can see the passion, you can hear the passion, and I can just see from what you've done and all the things that you brought how important this is to you. And this is just really cool. So I'm just really glad you guys were on, and this is just such a neat thing. So thank you.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Thank
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun.
All right, so let me get ready for next week. We are going to have on a guy from Operation Comfort, and they work with veterans, injured veterans, and people who are hurt. People who are serving our country, so that they're helping them in a lot of different ways. So this is going to be really cool. Hopefully, Mark will be back from his assignment, and he will have some interesting stories to tell us about something.
In theory.
He found Bigfoot.
You are so mean. Oh, and coming up in a couple of weeks, we talked about this before. We're going to have a guy, Mike, from the Greater Idaho Movement. And if you guys remember, they are trying to leave Oregon and become part of Idaho.
It's called seceding.
Yes. Well, they're trying to move from where they are in Oregon, which doesn't really represent them.
Good luck with that.
Seceding.
to Idaho, where they want to be. Listen, I want to hear what this is, because I feel like there's a lot of people that probably want to do this, and we'll hear from them. But listen, thanks everybody, and you know what? Man, I am so hammered drunk right now. We will see you next week.